The Sports Time on a Thursday afternoon. Brian Brett with you, Lee Aldwin Seabury training and getting everything down, learning very fast. So hopefully he'll be joining us full time soon, producing. But we're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. It was going to be 2.5 hours, and maybe some people thinking about the Ole Miss game. That game was moved up. A lot of weather going on really all over the country. But down in Louisiana, some weather tonight. So they moved that game up to 4 o'clock this afternoon to try to get it in before that rain hit. So we'll join in progress at 6 o'clock, have the end of that game for you. And then we'll have the rest of the games this weekend as well. We'll keep you updated. Any other weather-related issues through the rest of today, tomorrow, or Saturday when it comes to Ole Miss baseball. But plenty to get into today. We got the NFL schedule released last night. We had NBA basketball last night. A ton to get to. We've also got the PGA Championship going on right now. So a lot to talk about over the next 3 hours. But, Brett, how are you today?
Brian, I'm doing well, and great to be with you. And Lee Aldwin, great to have you with us. And we are here until 6, and we, as you said, we thought we were out earlier today. But everybody in the SEC, everybody across college baseball, it feels like this weekend will have some type of weather issue to deal with. I think Arkansas is at A&M this weekend.
Yes.
And they are really getting it through that stretch, through College Station, Bryan, Palestine, and yes, it's Palestine, like Palestine, Arkansas, Texas, hometown of Adrian Peterson. Lufkin, Texas, almost 22 inches of rain.
Whoa. Holy cow. Yeah. That's incredible. I mean, Brett, we were talking about this the other day off air of just how much rain we've gotten lately around the country. And I think we were talking about last week, talking about Major League Baseball, where it felt like there were a couple of days where it felt like every single game was either being delayed or getting completely postponed because of that rain. And so, it seems like it's going to be another issue this week. We've been kind of talking about it all week for the PGA Championship. And so far has been pretty good weather-wise up in Kentucky. That will probably change. And now baseball is going to get it, especially college baseball, as not a huge window right now. I know a lot of teams, pretty much everybody starting today, their weekend series on a Thursday. To try to get everything in, then I guess you have that Sunday if you needed to throw a game in there if one had to get canceled. But they're going to do everything they can to try to get these games in to get ready for the conference tournaments next week. So, rain's going to be an issue.
To set seeding in these tournaments, first game of the SEC tournament scheduled for next Tuesday morning at Hoover Met for 9:30 a.m.
9:30 a.m. Those poor teams that have to get that draw.
We know what that day and that schedule's
like. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Those start times mean nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Not even the first one. Unlike basketball,
right,
that's played indoors.
Sure.
Baseball is not always guaranteed to start even that first one on time. That fourth game, a lot of days at those tournaments, not just SEC, but around the country, all of them, you could have first pitch going off at 10.
Oh, easily. And I know the last couple of years that down in Hoover, we've had those weather-related issues, and some of them starting a little later than that, going into the early hours of the next morning. So it's always kind of a fun game to play of what's the weather going to do around conference tournament time, not just with the SEC, but with all of these. But I know some conferences have started to shift into, I think, Big 12 now playing at Globe Life, so they're in an indoor ballpark. I think there's a couple other conferences that are trying to move in that direction. But at least at Hoover, you always got to be worried about the rain.
And so many just insistent. Well, the SEC doesn't take everybody now. They take 12 of the 14. I think you could cut out a day. You could cut that Tuesday out. You've had since February to play, and you've had since March to play conference games.
Sure.
If you haven't done enough by that time, I don't know if you need an extra day.
Well, I mean, you're consistent, Brett. Same thing you say about that first night of the SEC basketball tournament.
And now we're going to have a full night of it with 16. I don't think it's necessary. I know it keeps hope alive, and that's all sometimes we want out of sports. And I know there's that occasional scenario where that team caught a wave and got hot out of that first day. But most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it's pretty chalky, and I think what it does to people's ticket values, it's shameful to charge people for those games.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of similar with baseball as well, but I mean, they get that full day in, and you're right, those schedulings can be wild.
Is
So,
baseball really a 9:30 in the morning sport? Is anything a 9:30 in the morning sport?
No. I think once you get past like Little League, then that's when the 9:30 a.m. First pitches should stop. I think should have a little more respect for the players and the fans, for that matter. I mean, what fan wants to be out at the ballpark at 9 o'clock trying to find their seat and parking spot? It's ridiculous.
Well, and sometimes in travel baseball, you're there at 9:30 in the morning, and you're back at 9:30 at night.
I've done it many a times, and I think you're being a little generous with those hours, more like 8 and 10 or something like that.
It's brutal. I think we could see a swing back to more local rec leagues.
Yeah.
And not a de-emphasis, but not as important as a lot of the travel baseball.
Oh, man. It's it started to get kind of out of hand like right when I was ending. It felt like everybody wanted a travel team. And but you're right, I would not mind seeing kind of a swing back the opposite way. It's such a time commitment and money commitment. I mean, it's crazy.
And the wear and tear on the young players.
Sure.
I think a lot of the arm injuries come from it.
Sure.
And the emphasis on just power, just throw it as hard as you can. And at 11 and 12 and 13-year-old elbows, not made for that.
No, not at all. Not at all. So it should be a fun weekend of college baseball as, like we said, this regular season trying to wrap up. Brett, PGA Championship going on
Look
right now.
at you on top of the leaderboard.
Well, day one.
So it took us 7 minutes to acknowledge you. Is that enough?
That's enough. That's fine.
I mean, yesterday called out John Gold.
Well, I mean, it's the 10-minute mark is really when I start to get frustrated.
The 10-minute rule?
Yes, you give you till 10 minutes after, and then if nothing's changed, then that's when I get frustrated. But no, day one, Schauffele's looking good right now, sitting atop 9 under.
He's done this before.
Exactly,
and that's why last year at the U.S. Open with a 62.
That's why I'm trying not to get too high. Just trying to stay level-headed. Maybe
he's gonna break your heart.
Maybe when we get to Sunday, you might be getting some text from me going, "Oh, he's gonna do it, Brett. He's gonna do it," and then break my. But I will say this, Brett. I think the only other time I've taken Xander Schauffele in a big-time tournament was at the last Olympics and got the W, came back with his gold medal, and so maybe he feels Paris right around the corner, trying to get finely tuned for Paris and maybe get a W this weekend.
Maybe so, hope so, and double money this week. So I think the winning check is going to be around $4 million Sunday night. So that's 8 for you, but it's a long time till Sunday night.
No, I'm not making out my check yet.
And they've got a long day tomorrow. The weather we are talking about, where it feels like the whole country is about 50-50 for thunderstorms. It's going to hit tomorrow at Valhalla. The severity, they even got a later start today because of fog.
Wow.
And there are players right now that have only played about 2 or 3 holes.
Oh, yeah. And so they're trying to get it all in today. But the one thing I love, Brett, and I see Phil Mickelson walking ever so slowly to his ball right now on my stream that I have pulled up on my iPad. Every time now that we get a major, the puffing of the chest that the LIV players do with their logos on their shirts, their hats on, their caddies wearing it. I saw somebody earlier with a Aces, I think is their team name for LIV. I swore up and down he was adjusting the pin, swore up and down for like 45 seconds that he was out there wearing an Atlanta Braves hat. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Maybe Braves getting out there in the market with golf. And then I realized it was a LIV thing. But I'll be honest, I think LIV broke John Rahm.
You do?
I do. Some it seemed it hadn't affected. Brooks Koepka's playing well.
I think the criticism he's taking may have hit him.
I think so. I think I honestly,
it all could have been prevented
easily. No, and I'll be honest. When he first said at the Masters that I thought that I was going to be able to go over to LIV and that was going to bring the two sides together and that was going to be that, I did not believe him at all. I was like, you're just saying that. You've got to say something. You're just trying to make it in the best light for yourself.
Sitting on $500 million.
I actually believe it now. the way he carries himself
You
now.
believe that he believes that.
I believe that I believe he believes that, and he really thought that he was going to do something. And now with the blowback and the criticism, and now being in Live, I think it's all taking a toll on him, and it certainly seems to be affecting his play.
And the stories out there, a lot of them from the British tabloids more than anything else, that Rory McIlroy didn't take Live because he doesn't want what's soon to be the ex-wife to get half of.
Wow, is that being reported out there? John Harden sat in that chair you're sitting in, Brett, yesterday and said that, and I told him that was reckless speculation.
No, you got a lot of those, and some of them are outlandish, but some are credible.
Yeah,
they're insinuating that. No, John is.
Wow, that's incredible. Look at John. I mean,
once again,
this week John has been on fire. I mean,
when is he not?
If anybody's sitting out there thinking that Johnny Radio was on top of this story and looking at all the reports about Rory McIlroy, couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, John Harden sat in front of that mic and just said, you know what would be a great idea if Rory decided not to take Live because he doesn't want his ex-wife to get all of that money.
Well, at least half.
Yeah, I mean, spot on. How about that?
I don't know if she can get all.
No, not all. But I mean, in terms of Brett, little old me sitting over here, when I think of half of what he'd be getting from Live, that's pretty much all of it. I mean, in my mind, I can't fathom that much money, so I just say it's all of it. Honestly,
none of us can. And again, the Saudi royal family, they're the public investment fund. They're never running out of money. They may get disinterested. Mm-hmm. They may try something else, whatever it fancies them. But as long as they're into this golf split and this golf battle, they're going to win.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, you know, Brett, we were talking earlier about something different, and you know, I said something about name your price. Liv's naming the price right now. I mean,
and everybody has one.
Yeah, and I mean, if they really want you, they have the cash that they can just keep going up, and you can turn them down. And I think Rory's the perfect example because you saw at the very beginning he was so opposed to it. I mean, he was number one. I would never go to Live. And kind of as time's gone on, and you know that price is going up and up and up, he's kind of starting to, well, you know, Live really might not be all that bad, and maybe they aren't traitors if they go out there, and you know, who knows? I mean, I think there's a price for Rory, and eventually they'll get there, and he'll say, "All right, I'll take you up on it, and I'll join Live."
And every attack angle was tried.
Yeah, it was. So,
but you can't shame them.
No, you can't.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could get mad enough to buy everything in sports.
Sure could.
Again, I don't know which one of the money magazines did it, Fortune or Barron's or Forbes, one of those. That does all, you know, the richest people in the world, the richest people in sports, the richest people in the United States, all the rankings of all the billionaires. They quit counting. They said it's blowing our computer, the calculator. They quit trying to tote up the Saudi royal family's net worth at $7 trillion.
That's crazy.
That means at $7 trillion, they could lose $900 billion, and still you still got the difference.
It's crazy. No, that's not even right. You could lose $6.9 trillion and still have $100 billion. Wow. Again, back to the fact of I can't even fathom this much money.
It's hard to calculate.
And clearly Forbes or whatever money magazine this is, they can't even fathom it.
If they wanted to, they could buy every professional sports team in the country.
Sure.
They could buy every arena. They could buy all the land around it. And we're not cutting into anything.
It's crazy.
And guess what? They're still pumping.
Sure.
It ain't Texas tea. It's Saudi Arabian tea.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to make that money. But no, it's been a fun first day at the PGA Championship, and I'm glad that so far today, you mentioned the fog earlier, but for the most part, has been a pretty clean day.
Tiger Woods won over.
Yeah, I thought
pretty good.
A good round for him. I was impressed. With what I saw.
A miracle, isn't it?
I mean, again, anytime he's out there, and especially he looks like that. and is not just completely blowing up and just missing every shot, is certainly a great day for him. And so yeah, I love seeing him out there. I heard him. I didn't hear much of it, but afterwards he was talking, and sounded like he felt good about the day. And so hopefully he can come out tomorrow. And I think tomorrow, like you said, tomorrow's the long day. Tomorrow's going to be the tough one, especially with weather. That could be the one that really gets him. And
get loose, get tight, get loose again, and a lot of factors. The leaderboard: Xander Schauffele, 9 under 62, lowest round ever in a PGA Championship, tie for lowest round that he set last summer at the Los Angeles Country Club at the U.S. Open. Tony Finau, 6 under. Sahith Theegala, 6 under. Rory McIlroy, 5 under. Robert McIntyre, 5 under. Then Coles, Koepka, Moore at 4 under. And as they say, a host of golfers at 3 under.
Yeah, so, a good day, and hopefully it improves. John Rahm, I just see it. We were just talking about him, 4 over right now. I think he threw 6, yeah, so not a good day for him.
Not a good day. We're in our Family Leisure studios, where family and fun come together. Factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it, really starting next weekend. That's the christening of swimming pool season with Memorial Day. Buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing. You can get that now. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. Like I mentioned, a busy day today. 3:30, Steve Macy, the Senior Director for Team Business and Event Operations for the Memphis Showboats. He'll join us to talk some showboats. They're on the road again this weekend before returning back to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for the final 2 games of the season, both at home. So we'll talk some showboats with Steve. 3:45. We'll get to the NFL schedule news. Officially all released last night. Forget all the leaks and what'd you call it, the Titanic ship of information that we were getting yesterday on schedule.
River of leaks.
I mean, it was a lot, but we finally have it all official. So we'll talk a little bit about it. Things that stood out to us. I don't hate the Cowboys' schedule this year. I like it. So we'll talk about that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He'll join us to talk the NBA. Plenty of NBA playoff things to get to. And also today, the big kind of headlines, things people are talking about. J.B. Bickerstaff, what will happen to him this offseason after the Cavs got knocked out last night by the Celtics.
Donovan Mitchell to Memphis rumors.
Oh, man, I've seen everybody's trying to make that trade work and trying to find a way to make it happen. The report last night from The Athletic saying Darius Garland's basically saying it's me or him. I mean, I guess it's team saying that, not him. But plenty to get to with Keith at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk some more about the PGA Championship. Take a look at the leaderboard an hour from now and see what things look like. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Dan Reardon, the golf reporter for KMOX in St. Louis. He will join us, talk more about the PGA Championship, the big stories from today, what this weekend will look like with all of that weather that's forecasted in Kentucky. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending at 5:45. Wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time. And let me remind everybody that Ole Miss baseball, I know some people might be tuning in or thinking Ole Miss baseball later tonight. 4 o'clock start now because of weather down Louisiana. They're moving that one up, so we will join in progress right when we're done here at 6 o'clock so you can catch the end of that game, and then we'll have full coverage the rest of the weekend.
He's Bryant. I'm Brett. Lee Aldwin Seabury with us as well. We're so glad to have him. We're glad to have you with us, and we are here until 6 o'clock. Ole Miss baseball, as Bryant said, joined in progress at 6 o'clock. We're Sports Time. We want you to join us at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will also appear at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Hit us up on what you think about a potential Donovan Mitchell to Memphis trade. That would mean Marcus Smart somewhere in the deal.
Sure, absolutely.
I think so. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the NBA from last night. You had the first game. Celtics, they get a 113-98 victory over the Cavaliers. It was close early, very back and forth. We tied at the end of the first quarter. It's back and forth in the second quarter, but in the second half, the Celtics were able to pull away. Cavs missing a lot of guys, including Donovan Mitchell last night, so they were very shorthanded on the other side. The Celtics went on to win. Tatum finished with 25 and 10, 9 assists added to that as well. Every starter finished with double figures, and Peyton Pritchard came off the bench to add 11 points. So a good win for them, but really the biggest game of the night was the Dallas and OKC series late last night in Oklahoma City, and the Mavericks, behind a really good performance by Luka Doncic, they get the 104-92 win over the Thunder.
Is it over?
Ask me tomorrow.
Okay.
Let me sleep on it for 2 nights. I think it feels like it, but who really knows with this series? Is it kind of the exact same with the Denver and Minnesota series? It feels like it should be
young. They don't have the playoff scar tissue.
Yeah.
So they're not sitting there fretting, man, we just fell
That's
down
right.
3-2 after a home loss. It may be ho-hum to them.
Yeah, it really could be, but a really impressive performance last night by the Mavericks. Luka finished with a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. P.J. Washington was really good, especially down the stretch, coming up with some big-time rebounds, some big-time baskets to really give them that comfortable lead. Really a lot of guys. I thought Kyrie Irving was really good, only 12 points for him, 4 assists. Kind of did a good job. It was almost
they're
like
winning this series with Kyrie being fairly pedestrian.
When they're almost using him as like a kind of mask to try to keep the double teams away from Luka, let Luka work, because you got to keep an eye on Kyrie at all times.
Almost like that big old nose guard that
That's right.
takes on that double team to free up that line.
Absolutely, and he's playing it well, and I think the biggest part of it that not a lot of people are talking about is I remember when this trade happened and Kyrie went to Dallas and everyone was saying, oh, there's no way Luka and Kyrie can work together. I mean, two guys that love the ball in their hand.
That was unanimous.
They love being guys. It was unanimous, but they're finding ways to make it work, and Kyrie looks completely bought in right now, even if his role is going out there and getting 12 points and kind of being a facilitator, being kind of that guy that just sits in the corner and tries to keep double teams off of Luka. Really good game. Derek Lively, who I really like, the rookie from Duke, 11 points last night, 10 rebounds, a double-double for him. On the other side, Oklahoma City was good. SGA finished with 30 points. Lou Dort continues to play well. So it was a good game for them, but just not enough against this Mavericks team. It might be over. I don't know. But like you said, this Thunder team has shown a couple of times this playoffs that they are not that usual young, unexperienced team. They find ways to fight. So we'll see if they can do that in Game 6.
My top story is PGA Championship underway, and a record by Xander Schauffele, as we talked about, 62. Tomorrow looks very challenging from a weather standpoint for everybody to get in, maybe to even start tomorrow. We'll see. Could be a lot of stops and starts. But today, good round for Rory McIlroy, good round for Tony Finau. There's a lot to pick from that leaderboard, but at the top, 62 goes a long way. And the questions around Xander Schauffele has always kind of been, if Reggie Jackson was Mr. October, he's been Mr. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Maybe this is the time that he gets that first major and completes it on Sundays. Has the gold medal, but still lacking a major.
Not top story of the day.
Yeah, I will continue to wait and see how it plays out for Xander.
I know why you really like Derek Lively.
Why is that? Because I'm a Duke
You're
lover.
a private Dookie.
I am definitely behind closed doors.
To be revealed as a public Dookie.
Honestly,
That's
it
okay.
Probably is already revealed. I mean, if you listen enough during the basketball season, you know how
pretty
Duke.
good basketball program.
I mean, good basketball program. I mean, and when you're a kid and you're watching Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving, and I mean the list goes on and on. hard not to want to watch them. But no, my not top story of the day, it's got to be the NFL finally releases their schedules. Delayed. We thought we were going to get it last week. Now we got it this week. I said it yesterday. I didn't watch really the shows. I peeked into them once or twice. But looking at the schedules, there are definitely some that are really good. There are some that definitely make you worry about the team. I know a lot of people have been talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. It looks like on paper that is going to be a very difficult year for Mike Tomlin and his team. Obviously bringing in Russell Wilson to be the starting quarterback. You got Justin Fields kind of waiting in the wings. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. I saw one of the headlines when I was just kind of scrolling around the internet today, pointed out, and I didn't even notice this last night. I didn't see any tweets or anything about it. I'm sure plenty of people were talking about it, but I didn't see it till this morning. The Chiefs will play every day but Tuesday this year because of Christmas being on Wednesday and the NFL deciding, hey, who cares? We'll still play on Christmas even if it's on a Wednesday.
We got Monday night football doubleheaders, international games. The game first weekend that's in Brazil.
Yeah.
The European games.
It's a ton everywhere. And so I like looking at the schedule, but I always want to wait because everyone tries to base the schedule on last year's results, and a lot of teams are so different.
Now could be easy
exactly
come December.
Exactly. And so it's fun to see. I think it's always great because you have the draft, and then you got rookie minicamp, then you have the schedule. It's kind of that downhill slide, and so it's always very fun. But I always kind of cautiously look at the schedules because you really don't know what to expect from these teams until we're really at the start of the season.
That's mine. Schedule released last night. 9 playoff rematches, 14 past Super Bowl rematches, all the international games, Monday night football doubleheader. Christmas on Wednesday, we're going to have 2 pay-per-view games. That's all I'm going to call them. You can call it streaming all you want. It's pay-per-view. But isn't it all pay-per-view? I mean, my DirecTV's pay-per-view,
sure, yeah.
in essence.
I guess so,
But
yeah.
This is just cash on the barrelhead. And then week 1, we start with a game on Thursday. We have a game on Friday. We have game Sunday. We have game Monday. And then comes Saturday, December 21st, the day of the college football playoff games on campus. You're going to have a noon and a 3:30 game square up against 2 college football playoff games that are being played on campus. The College Football Playoff Committee should do this. They should manipulate that bracket to roll out some big boys head-to-head against them. I'm going to guess right now, that day, NFL, those 2 games will each probably draw 15 million viewers. I would say if college could stay anywhere between 5 and 6 million behind them, that not a win, but that's okay.
Sure.
It's saving fact. But if NFL blew it out to 20 and you had 5 for the college games, then you can't even attempt to go against them next year.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But I think you manipulate seeding to put out there Ohio State, Alabama, somebody prominent from the Big Ten, Notre Dame. Like I said the other day, NBC, you really want to do this? All right, we're putting Notre Dame out there.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame officials cannot fight it.
Right.
If they tell them you're playing at 2:30 Central that Saturday, that's when they're playing.
They just got to say okay and go with it. It's going to be fun. And, I mean, talk about a sports bettor's paradise on that day. You've got college football playoff games and NFL regular season games all going on at the same time. I mean, be careful out there.
That's the Memphis, Mississippi State basketball
That's right.
game.
So you have college basketball going on, NBA.
Pretty fair college basketball schedule that Saturday because that's after finals at most places.
Yeah, so it's going to be a heck of a day.
Who takes finals anymore?
No. But yeah, be careful out there if you are planning on betting that day because it could go really, really good or it could go really, really bad really, really quickly. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, we're talking showboats with Steve Macy.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party, that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right on schedule over here on 240 East, where it's slow sometimes here up by Poplar as that traffic increases even more out of the Midtown area. Just in the last few minutes, I-40, especially around Chelsea. TDOT was moving a stalled vehicle 240 westbound near Mount Moriah just a few minutes ago. Had traffic a little bit heavy. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Steve Macy joins us now, the Senior Director for Team Business and Event Operations for the Memphis Showboat. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Last week did not go the way we wanted it for the Showboats, a 47-23 loss on the road. But one more road game this week at Michigan before coming home for those last two home games of the season. What do you want to see this weekend from the Showboats? How can they bounce back from last week's loss against Arlington?
Yeah, I think we're just in a mode here where it's time to make some things happen and have a good game. I mean, really, it's just a matter of playing a game that works on the offensive side, the defensive side, and special teams, and just play solid. Trust in yourselves and go. But obviously, from a wins-loss standpoint, it hasn't been what we wanted at all. But from getting reestablished in spring football and professional football in Memphis, it's awesome. I mean, we're making our plans for year 3, which will be the first time we've ever had a professional football team in Memphis play a third straight season. And so I think this, that's kind of the message to the community, is that this is here to stay. And despite what, the wins and losses this year, this is your professional football team, and they're doing everything they can to get back on the win column.
Steve, I think everyone's a little surprised by, especially that opening game performance, the home opening performance, except for the last minute that got away with some of the newfangled rules that really went in the other direction, to this team playing like this. And at this point, almost even this week, Steve, even though those guys are playing for jobs, playing for future, coaches are coaching for jobs and positions in the future, I'm not as worried about this week on the field at Michigan as those last two home games really try to rally the troops to end this on an air of good feeling to really kickstart year 3 in these last two home games.
Well, I agree. I think that's one of the main things here, is that the Showboats ending the season strong, giving us something as we go out to the community and spend a true off season creating some business, creating some relationships and growing this business to say, hey, this is going to be part of the Memphis fabric for decades to come. And so, having kind of that positive feeling as you end the season is important to us. We've got 2 big home games to end the season on back-to-back Sundays on the 26th of May and then the 2nd of June. And looking for a lot of positives coming out of those games. We'll do a spatula giveaway on the 26th, and then we'll have a real big celebration of the season, kind of as a fan appreciation on the 2nd.
And you got a 1:30 game on Sunday, May 26th, and then that 6 o'clock game on Sunday, June 2nd on Fox. I think both of those times will be better for fans. This league proves once again, we know it. There are just so many quarterbacks on planet Earth, and a couple of teams have them, and a lot of teams don't.
I think that's possible as a big explanation for things, but at the same time, it's all the guys. It's whether you're protecting them well, whether you're scheming well, the mistakes you're making. It's obviously somebody that's extremely talented at quarterback, and whether it's whatever sport, that your leader is extremely talented to make for some other deficiencies. And I think that we're seeing that this season we need to be good everywhere. We need to improve everywhere, and I think that's the quarterback position is one of them. But I certainly don't think that's one where I would say, hey, point the finger, and that's the reason for this loss or that loss or the way the season's gone. I think it's been equally applied, because, like you said, the first game and 59/60ths were phenomenal. And something's happened since then, and I don't think that just one guy decided he couldn't play.
That's right. That's very true. It does. It's a symphony, and that offensive line plays really big. And then on the defensive side, the Showboats secondary has struggled. The defensive line, I think, has played well, but it's impossible to rush that quarterback all day. They can hold you off from getting to him, and the rules don't really want the quarterback hit.
No, and I think it's kind of a snowball effect. If the offense isn't moving the ball real well, then the defense is out there too much, and the offenses can make an adjustment, and defenses get tired. It's only 48-person roster, so it's not a deep bench, and so if you got one unit out there for most of the day on a hot day, or whatever, even if it's not a hot day, you're out there banging against the other team the whole day, you're going to get tired. They know where they're going on offense. You're trying to figure it out on defense, and I think that's definitely part of the equation that's happened, whether it's from turnovers or you get a turnover, then you give it right back to them. I think there's just been some things that, they just haven't gone the Showboat's way on the field.
Steve, why do you think this league has such good, really strong special teams play, whether it's kicking it or returning it or the punt? Not a lot of punting, but this league really has some really good place kicking.
I have been shocked over the 2 seasons at how few kicks are actually missed. I mean, it's
amazing.
It's remarkable.
They're automatic.
I watch a lot of football, whether it's the college side or the NFL, and the guys that kick in the UFL are a lot better. For some reason, the accuracy is just through the roof. They're kicking them, they're kicking them for 55, and it's right down the middle all day long. It is. I have no idea how to explain why the kicking is so good in this league, but it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I have the, UFL, but the USFL, more specifically, to thank for, as a Cowboy fan, our kicker from the USFL, Brandon Aubrey has been really, really good. Steve, I'm curious, and Brett kind of touched on this a little bit, but I feel like when you're talking about a team that struggles during their season, kind of like the Showboats have, in a lot of other professional sports, you kind of talk about that checkout factor, and you get late in the season, and guys start to check out, they think of the off season. But I feel like the UFL is a little different because for a lot of these guys, they're trying to compete to keep this dream alive, to continue playing football. How much over these last 3 games, it feels like, to me at least, we won't see much of that checkout factor. It's still going to be those guys out there competing
because that tape gets around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. This is the time of the year, and right now, not only is it just tape, but now it's you're showing your heart. You're showing
that's right.
What you've got on the inside, and those things can matter a lot when you're trying to get one of the last 2 or 3 roster spots.
Coaches too, Steve.
At anything.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches too, don't you think?
100%. Yeah, I think all of that is 100% correct. That they are, everybody's looking at for a reason to keep you or not keep you, and it's saying, hey, what kind of motor does this guy have when it comes to getting the job done, even when the chips are down? How people react to adversity, I think, is...
You tell Savoy and Copeland to be on their A game, too, with Springs. Everybody needs to be on their A game, don't they?
I agree.
I listened last week, and they were terrific
They
again.
are, yeah.
No, they are good. They're very good. We're fortunate to have both those guys doing our games,
and Tyler.
for sure, and Tyler Springs as well. Yeah, we're very fortunate to have those. So it's it's something that's a feather in our cap in Memphis. It shows, again, the commitment that the league has to Memphis and the commitment that the community has back. Somebody saying, hey, we want to put these games on the radio each week is a big deal for us. And, we're the only one in the league that has that. So we're proud to have that as one of the feathers in our cap as we try to make sure that the Showboats can be seen and consumed in many different ways, whether it's watching it on TV or coming to the game. And we certainly hope people come to the game. We know the TV ratings are through the roof.
They're really good.
They're phenomenal. So we know it's a product that people
is that
want.
surprising, the honchos?
No, I think they're pleasantly surprised. I think they expected it. I think the questions that we're asking, and me and my colleagues are asking, is all right, how do we get this to equate to the people that come to the game? Is what are we doing to make the game so much more fun than how good the football, the TV product is? That people have a little bit of that fear of missing out, so they come to the game, and that's the challenge we're facing right now and trying to overcome, because it is a great television product with all of the other things that they do for the viewer that you don't get in any other sport and any other level of football. And so we're trying to figure out, all right, what can we emulate inside of our venues? What can we do that's better? How do we really emphasize what that in-game experience is for fans, so that when they're talking about whether they want to watch it on TV or go to the game, there's no hesitation that they want to go to the game.
Steve, as the league grows, could you see the day where maybe not like a minor league baseball team or even like the hustle with the Grizzlies, but a few players being protected as property of NFL teams?
I wouldn't even know where to start speculating on that one, Stat.
Gotcha.
I don't know how this is gonna play out long term, but we do know that if you want to be blunt, the NFL has got it made, man. They've never had to invest in minor leagues. They've had college football, and now they've got spring football to allow them to have their own farm system, if you will, where every other sports had to produce
and spend
that. They've had and spend and do all those things to have that feeder program up into it. So I think this is, I'm not sure that they've got a incentive to want to try to create something in partnership with the UFL, and that's just speculation, 100% on my part.
But no need to spend if you don't have to. And Steve, I don't know who the first person I ever heard say it, but it was a long time ago, and somebody mentioned, why doesn't the NFL have a minor league like baseball? And they said, well, they do. It's called the Big Ten and the SEC and the Pac-12 and Notre Dame. They do have a minor league.
And I think football is a little bit different. The shelf life of a player is significantly shorter than it is in the other sports, just because of the nature of the game. And so I think expecting them to find guys that are playing at a level between college and the NFL is probably hard for them to do. And figure out how do we house all these guys? How do we take care of them and train them? And so that I'm good with that, because right now there's an open space in the sports world universe for spring football,
sure,
and
is.
I'm thrilled that there is, and it's an opportunity to have a professional team.
Yeah. Last thing for you, Steve, before we let you go, we mentioned this weekend on the road at Michigan, but then the 2 weeks after that to finish the season, both at home against D.C. in Week 9 on May 26th, and then at home on June 2nd against Houston. How can fans go get those tickets? What do y'all have planned for those two games?
Yeah, so coming up on the 26th is our Hats Off to Heroes game. So we'll be celebrating everybody from military to first responders, educators, healthcare workers, just really thanking the folks that help our world go around. And so we've got $10 tickets available at theufl.com, theufl.com. That's going to be a big part of it. Then as you walk out, you'll get the Showboat spatula that was so popular last year. So I'm bringing back that little giveaway just because folks enjoy it so much. And heck, I use mine all the time because I'm constantly at the grill in the summertime. So I know how much I enjoy mine, and it's a great giveaway that we've been able to provide for that game. And then on the second, our last home game of the year is really going to be a fan appreciation. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, giving away a bunch of stuff during the game. We're going to really focus on our season ticket holders and have a special thank you for them during the game as well. So it's I'm excited about those opportunities for us to play in front of the home crowd and to hopefully finish the season strong on the field, but ultimately for our fans to have a great time and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Steve, as always, thanks
Steve.
so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Really appreciate the time. Have a good rest of your week.
You got it, Steve.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Steve Macy joining us every week, the Senior Director of Team Business and Event Operations for the Memphis Showboats.
And all Steve can do is go hard through
Sure,
the end of the year
absolutely.
tape. He does not control on the field
No,
play.
no.
If he did, we'd be undefeated.
That's right. But unfortunately, he doesn't. So, no, last road game, and I know I'm excited about getting out there for those last two games, and I'm going to try to make it to both of those. And I hope other people do as well and give them a good crowd. Because, like I said, I think these guys are going to go out there. I don't think they're going to, give up, and I think they're, trying to get more film out. They're trying to impress
Could
people.
be costly.
It could be. You're right about that. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some more football, but NFL schedules officially released last night, so we'll talk about some things that stood out to us. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Are you looking for a better way to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment? Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy, and will market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Tuning into this station was the first best thing you have done today. This is Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we are both with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. You, what's the next thing we can advise people to do if they are selling their home?
The next best thing? Remember, Sheldon, the real estate market is changing, and you need honest, forthright help navigating the new environment. Doing it on your own is like driving a car in a blinding snowstorm.
Correct, you. The upcoming changes will mean a lot for both buyers and sellers, and that's why we always advise people to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that we are one of them.
Sheldon, 2 to 3 real estate brokers? Really? Like 2 to 3 tee shots you always take?
Yes, you. It's important to have a choice, whether in real estate or in golf. Now, back into the fairway, and to find out how you will move you, call him at 497-9756, or find out why they often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing: help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra cart fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the NFL schedules were officially announced last night. We had a reveal show on ESPN. We had a reveal show on NFL Network. We had all the social media accounts for the teams posting their different various videos and stuff that they all go out
Titans
for.
did it again.
Yes, I mean everyone
live on Broadway.
Of course, they had so much success last year. Why not go back? The rest of the night, Sports Center that's pretty much all they talked about was NFL scheduling. I saw today there were I saw various gambling shows doing week one odds and picks for the NFL season. everyone's excited for it.
There's lines by every game.
Yeah, it's
for
crazy.
week 1.
It's crazy. So that was fun last night. What jumped out to you, Brett, when seeing the schedules?
It did on the reveal of opponents, and I talked about it, but then last night with the full schedule, or sometimes yesterday, the full schedule, the clarity of it, for our friend Johnny Hill, the team he'll be covering now in Detroit, 17 games. 14 of the 17 will be under a roof.
Wow.
Detroit, at one time, the ultimate outdoor team was that division.
Yeah.
Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, and who was the fourth? Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, and the Lions. That was the 4 team. I mean, those games were just played in mud holes. Cold, nasty. After the Bears go dome, only one's going to be outdoors.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Lambeau. Yeah.
In Titletown. So the Lions road trips this year, it's to the Cardinals, dome. To the Cowboys, dome. Vikings, dome. Outdoors in that's home. Outdoors in Green Bay, first weekend in November. That's getting close to the cut line for weather there.
Oh, yeah.
But it can be a lot colder.
I was about to say,
December 3rd.
You could be visiting them a lot later in the season. It'd be a lot colder.
So they could, but you probably won't get just that brutal game there. Road at the Texans, dome. Road at the Colts, dome. Everything else I'm not calling out at home. Road at Soldier Field, Sunday, December 22nd against the Bears. Could be really miserable.
Yeah, that could be brutal.
The next week, road at San Francisco. Won't be cold, but could be very muddy.
Sure, could be. Absolutely.
At Santa Clara, could be rainy, but also could be perfect.
Sure.
Not terrible. So that's the only 3 roadies for the Lions. Wow. My larger point is this. They better be the number 1 seed. Because if they're the 2 seed and they have to go back to Green Bay after being spoiled with all these dome games, and they go back for an NFC championship game, and it's like it can be at Lambeau, they won't be ready for that.
Well, that's what I was just about to say is they're going to get so comfortable there.
You can't have enough cold weather, wet ball practice to replicate that.
Not at all.
If you haven't had that since last year.
Exactly.
They need that game at Soldier Field to be nasty cold.
Oh, yeah.
In November, in late December, rather.
Yeah, because only a couple of chances to really get that, and San Francisco, you're not going to get that.
That old black and blue division, it was black and blue from the bruises, but it was also from the cold.
Sure. And now, like you mentioned, soon we'll just be talking about one of those places, not with a roof.
Chicago.
So it's crazy.
Coming soon. Going to be in a dome.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but I guess that's the way things are heading in the NFL.
I enjoyed schedule release last night.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like I said, I flipped it over a couple times, and it was fun. I always like seeing the social media accounts, what they post. That's always.
I don't know why I've lost all track of time today, Brian. Went long in the first segment.
I mean, Brett,
I've gone long
we
now.
said it.
Good to see y'all.
We said it at the beginning. There's just so much to talk about right now. Everyone talks about it being a slow time, but it's really a busy time.
I'm at mid-sentence. Look down, and I see 57. We should have been out 2 minutes ago. I'm sorry, Brian.
Well, no worries. Let's go ahead and get out now and wrap up this hour. And when we come back, we're talking NBA with Keith Smith.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG 510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD is on the scene of a couple of accidents now. It is busy over here. It's not going to surprise you. 240 East with a lot of volume already trying to get up past Poplar as it increases even more in the last 15-20 minutes on 240 as you work your way out of the Midtown area coming southbound there passing Norris. Still moving at the moment over here in the construction zone on 55 North up around Crump. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging, TomahawkCrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA. He joins us like all our guests do on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. Plenty to get to when it comes to the NBA with the playoffs going on, the draft. Now we know where everyone will be picking after the draft lottery over the weekend. But I want to start off with the Celtics and the Cavs series that wrapped up last night. The Celtics move on, and the Cavs, their season comes to an end. Kind of looking at both sides For Boston, how confident are you with what they've shown so far in the playoffs moving forward? And then on the other side, for the Cavs, what does this mean? I think everyone saw the reporting from The Athletic last night, the tweets from Shams and some of the other writers over at The Athletic, that this could be a very busy offseason for the Cavs.
Yeah, starting with the Celtics part, because that's the easy part. I'm very confident. They have now gone 4-1 back-to-back series. Multiple of those games weren't close in their wins. They basically are doing a version of what they did in the regular season. They're now 72-20 on the season. Like they are absolutely rolling through this, and that's what they should do, and they're doing it. So no reason to be anything but confident they're going to get either a banged-up Knicks team or a Pacers team that doesn't play any defense in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll see what happens from there. But right now, things are looking good for Boston. As for Cleveland, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there. They've got to figure out what's happening with J.B. Bickerstaff. They've got to figure out what they're going to do with Donovan Mitchell. It sounds like whatever happens with Donovan Mitchell could influence what happens with Darius Garland. There was reporting a bunch of teammates were down on Jared Allen because they believe he did not, do everything he could to be out on the floor playing. That one I have a little bit of issue with when it's an injury. Kind of stay out of it. Not like he had a sprained pinky and was sitting out. So, that one's a little rough. And then also just tucked in there was Evan Mobley didn't ever want the Cavs to draft him in the first place. And, what happens with that? So, I mean, you've got a team that they're kind of now the epitome of this is how quick it can change in the NBA. Everybody loved them a couple years ago. They were on their way up. Now it could all be done before it even ever really got started.
Keith, you mentioned the Celtics and winning both series 4-1. If those losses, the home loss to Orlando, the home loss to Cleveland, if that had been on the road when they were up 2-0 in both of those, nobody would have thought anything about either one of those. I'm not making a big deal out of either, but the margins and on the parquet, I think, is what frightened some. It didn't frighten them though, and now they're being picked at by some over the accomplishment. If I'm in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think I have anything to apologize for.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, this is the sixth trip in 8 years to the Eastern Conference Finals. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been to more conference finals than something like 6 or 7 franchises have been to total in their existence. So they're doing all right. Now it's great to be there, but get over the hump, right? Get to another finals, try to get this done and win a title. Like they've been the favorites for most of the year. And I think, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, yeah, they couldn't do it this year. If they can't get there and win it, when are they ever going to do it? And I think there's some fairness to that criticism. But I think for the most part, they've really done everything that's been asked of them. They've answered every question. I think you're right. If they were up 2-0 and lost the third game, everybody says, that's kind of how this goes. The team down comes out with a great effort. But, the Celtics have proven they're not going to get up for every single game. Now, as much as we wish they would, they're not going to, and most teams don't. And when they don't, they tend to get a little sideways, but they tend to reverse it very quickly. That's something the team has shown all year long.
Earlier this week, we were talking about if the Celtics go on to that much-coveted number 18, that would put them ahead of the Lakers. It would be the most of anyone in the NBA, and only the Yankees in all of American team sport would have more. If they got there will be long summertime think pieces ranking where they rank with all the other 17 teams. Never mind that. I was going to ask you that today, but I'll save that for in a month after, which I think they will win it after they do win it. Where does this team rank with these last 4 or 5 Celtic teams that were good, but they couldn't win at all?
Yeah, this one's the best of the bunch. I think we're finally to the point where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really fully ready for this. I think they're going to get Kristaps Porzingis back, probably, if not or for the start of the Eastern Conference Finals, probably fairly early in that. I think they wouldn't mind too much if the Knicks and Pacers or the Nuggets and Timberwolves extend to 7, and that pushes it out to a start of next Tuesday. That just gives Porzingis a few more days to get ready to return. But they've got him, Al Horford, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett. That's a pretty strong bench because just guys who come in and they play their role And then the big difference is Derek White and Drew Holiday. Having those two guys is so huge because they can do a lot of different things defensively. Those two guys are both really reliable offensive players. This is the best team they've had in this run kind of around the Brown and Tatum core, and this is the time really to get it done. We're kind of past any real excuses here. It's get this done. Otherwise, we're going to be having a whole lot of questions going into the summertime.
Over in the Western Conference, both series 3-2. Mavs took a 3-2 lead last night, a couple nights ago. Denver took the 3-2 lead over the Timberwolves. I was telling Brett earlier, when it comes to both these, I think you automatically say, yeah, Denver has the upper hand. Yeah, Dallas has the upper hand. But I'm very skeptical about both of them. When you look at Dallas and Denver, who are you more confident in to make it to the next round?
I'm more confident in Dallas only because they're going home up in the series. That's a huge difference versus Denver is going on the road. So trying to close it out on the road is always difficult. Now, the good thing for the Nuggets is they bounce back. They kind of get two shots at it. If you lose Game 6, so be it. You can win Game 7 back at home, where if you're Dallas, you want to try to get this closed out at home because you don't want to go back to Oklahoma City and play another game. And it's just, I think, at this point, Denver, I feel pretty confident in both teams. If we get there, I think Denver's really good. I think, they've been the best team in the West the year. Jumped on them, but when Minnesota did not win Game 3 or 4 at home, you really felt like, all right, that's it. They missed it. They missed their window.
Yeah.
They had the chance. The Nuggets took care of it. And now, we'll see what they do tonight. Maybe Minnesota can force the Game 7. I would love it. I love Game 7. So, of course, I want to see that. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about the Nuggets' chances, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking at this Mavericks team last night, I've heard a lot of people last night and then today talking about Luka Doncic saying, there was just something different about him last night. He wasn't talking to officials. He wasn't arguing calls. He was just out there playing basketball. I think they even asked him on TNT after the game about it, and he said, sometimes I just have to remind myself that I love the game of basketball and I'm out here doing, playing the sport that I love. But he's been great. 31 points for him with a triple-double last night in that win against the Thunder. But you look around, P.J. Washington is stepping up in big moments. Derek Jones Jr. stepping up. Gafford stepping up. You had Derek Lively come off the bench and score 10 points for them. And then Kyrie is kind of having quiet games, but he's making an impact out there on the court without scoring the ball. What has kind of been the big thing that has stood out to you about this Dallas team during this series?
Yeah, I think the big thing, beyond Luka and Kyrie, when they get going and they're doing their thing, just how good the fit of Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington has been. Like, those guys, those trades for those guys at the trade deadline, they were a little risky, but they both came in and have been excellent. I mean, they got up in this series without P.J. Washington. He was so good in the early part of the series, and Gafford has come in teamed with Lively. They get 48 minutes of really solid center play every single game, and you can't overlook that. It's a position that's either kind of been treated as, well, either one of the star guys like Jokic or Embiid or a Towns-Gobert combo, or you just kind of piece it together and figure it out. And I think for those guys, it's been, we're piecing it together, but they're better than that. They're not just guys who are on minimum contracts and you're just hoping they can survive out there. They're both pretty good players and playing really well. And then you get a guy like Derek Jones Jr. is playing really good defense. He does his thing just by running the floor and being super active. They've kind of got all the things you need. And then I think Kyrie Irving's defense in this series has really been impressive. He's taken his turns on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's held up against other guys. I think that's been really, really impressive that he's done as well as he has on that end of the floor, and that's been huge for them.
Keith Smith, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. And Keith, if the Mavericks make it, one win away, make it to the Western Conference Finals, that will be 2 years in a row a team got to the Western Conference Finals with really remarkable stuff at deadline time. What the Lakers did last year dealing, and now what the Dallas Mavericks did this year dealing. Trade deadline matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely does. If you can get it right, you're going to go, give yourself that launching pad that you need to really move forward. And the big thing is, too, I always tell people, don't get too fired up a trade deadline move looks awesome a weekend, or if it doesn't look so great a weekend, because it takes a little bit of time sometimes. Yeah. And some teams are very reticent to make trade deadline moves because they look at it and say, "Oh, you got 20 games left." Sometimes it's right around that window, and they're like, "I just don't know. Like, I'm not sure that we want to upset the apple cart and try to figure this out." But then you get other teams that are like, "Hey, let's go. Let's try to do this." And sometimes those teams, it really works out well for them. And I think, for the Mavericks editions, it was P.J. Washington, hey, hit shots. We're going to get you open shots. You just need to make them. And Daniel Gafford, just be big around the rim. Luka will find you. Just do your thing. So in a lot of ways, it was just go out there, be the best version of yourselves. You don't have to come out there and be the best players on the planet. Just do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier talking about the Celtics that now they await either the Knicks or the Pacers, and this series has been interesting. The Pacers win that first series against a banged-up Bucks team, and then they come into this one, and now the Knicks are super banged up and really limited on guys. What have been your takeaway from this series, and who do you think ultimately comes out of this one?
Yeah, I think it has been so cool watching the Knicks kind of embrace everything that New York loves in the team. It's a bunch of scrappy underdogs, guys who've been cast-offs from other teams. Even Jalen Brunson, it was, he's too small. He got overpaid. He has become he is that town superstar right now, and they absolutely love him. And I think they have a relationship with that crowd this year that lifts them. Have moments in games when they really need it.
Fun.
Those Knicks fans lift them in a big, big way. Now, my challenge is they're playing like 6 guys. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're going to run out of steam. And my word, I think they'll get through the Pacers, whether it's in 6 games or they have to go to 7. I don't think Indiana is getting a win in New York in a game 7, barring something really kind of going wild. But I think I don't know how much they're going to have left for the Celtics in the next round. I wouldn't be surprised, because here's the big thing that's tough for the Knicks. They haven't seen anybody play defense yet.
Yeah.
The 76ers weren't playing a lot of defense in the first round, especially not on Jalen Brunson. The Pacers don't play any real defense. Now Jalen Brunson's going to go from that to being guarded by Drew Holiday and Derek White. And if he does draw a switch, he's picking up Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Al Horford or somebody like that. That's going to be pretty tough. So I think they can be competitive. I think they'll challenge the Celtics. I just don't think they're going to have enough left in the tank to beat them.
In the bunker, that the situation room for the Boston Celtics, who do they prefer in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I don't know. I've been asked this question a lot today. I think the real answer is they don't really care. I think for them, it's about them.
That's when you're good.
If they play their game, they're going to beat either the Knicks or the Pacers. Like it really is that simple. And that's not to knock down the Knicks or the Pacers. They're just not on the same level that the Celtics are at. So I think for the Celtics, it's a lot more about, hey, we got to play our game. We got to play our game. At a minimum 4 times in this series, but ideally, let's make the first 4 or 4 out of the first 5, and let's get this thing wrapped up and done and over with. And that's I think what the mentality is in Boston. It's just it's all about us. In the NBA Finals, when they get a Western Conference team, that's going to be a little bit of a different story, because you're going to get a team that's better than anybody else left in the East for Boston. But I think in the East Finals, it's really about the Celtics more than it is about the opponent.
Whatever sport, when you're looking at seedings and brackets and playoffs scenarios, if you're doing a whole lot of, we need this one to lose and that one to get upset, and if we stand on our left foot and point toward the north and everything lines up, you're not very good. It's really not a go-for-it year. You just described the go-for-it year. The Celtics don't care.
Yeah, there's a place in the Celtics world where, for some reason, people want everyone to stand up and down and say, they've had an easy path. This isn't fair. That's not how it works. Sometimes in sports, you get a lucky break. And part of the reason why you play so well in the regular season and try to get the top seed is to give yourself the easiest path that you can possibly get. And you know what? Last I checked, they don't decide who they play. This is not college football where you can line up your first 4 or 5 opponents, from Cupcake University to roll over them. It's not that way. You play who you play. whoever shows up on the other side, you go out and your job is to beat them. And Boston, so far in the playoffs, is taking care of business. Yeah, they lost a couple games, one game in each series. Who cares?
Yeah.
No one goes back and remembers. I don't remember a single person coming back and saying, well, easy path to that title. Let's hang that one a little bit lower. Let's put it in the back without any lights on it. That's not how it works. When you hang a banner, you hang a banner, and you celebrate it as much as you can, because it's really hard to win a title no matter who it is you play.
Famously said by Rick Pitino when handed his first schedule with the Boston Celtics, and he was going over it, and somebody said, Coach, what do you think? And he said, where's Eastern Kentucky?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, absolutely. And it, I always go back to, you get it. One of Brad Stevens' things that he repeated, which he had heard, Red Auerbach used to say, and a lot of other coaches have said, when they're like, what do you think about the regular season schedule? 41 home, 41 away. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like that, it really, at the end of the day, it's, I get it, but no, I've yet to see the team apologize. I mean, I was a kid who grew up with, it's funny now how it's split, where it's the Western Conference is so hard. The East has it so easy. Well, I grew up as a kid. The 87 Lakers didn't have to play a team that won more than 42 games. And by the time the Celtics got to the finals against them, Bird was limping around. Kevin McHale's career was never the same from a broken foot, and Robert Parrish had a sprained ankle. So, sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. I'll also say this. Anybody who says there's a lot of Lakers fans right now are coming out of the woodwork to talk about how easy the Celtics have it and how, they've only done X, in the last 30 years or whatever it may be, and they like to move arbitrary goalposts all over the place. And my thing is, remind me when the Lakers lose two potential franchise players die. Like, let me know when that happened. And
Len Bias and Reggie Lewis.
That was a real thing that happened to the Celtics. They lost Len Bias before he even played a game, and then Reggie Lewis was cut down in the prime of his career when they were really turning the team over to him. And I've had people say, well, Reggie Lewis wasn't that good. Oh, go back and look. There's a YouTube video you can find very easily. You just got to look up. And it's Reggie Lewis blocks Michael Jordan 4 times in one game. He's the only person who ever did it to him. And there's quotes from Jordan in there and everything else about how Reggie Lewis was the real deal. And we lost him too early. It's just, all this stuff of, it's easy for this team, it's easy for that team. It's not easy for anybody. When you win, you don't make any apologies. You just hang your banner and you celebrate it.
It's simple, Keith. 18 beats 17 every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Talking to Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. I know a lot of people here in Memphis have been kind of waiting for the offseason to really start when you see the moves and all those sorts of things. But we had the draft lottery over the weekend. A lot of eyes here on that. It started off with the number 7 pick, but by the time the draft lottery was over, Grizzlies end up with the number 9 pick. What did you think of the lottery and the Grizzlies falling 2 spots to number 9? What does that mean for them when you look at this draft class?
Yeah, I think for the Grizzlies part of it specifically, you have to expand it now a little bit more. Not that they were going to go in with 25, 30 guys that they have, ideally probably first-round grades on. That's how many guys are going to be drafted in the first round. So they were going to go in very well prepared. I've seen some people say, well, have they have, the other teams that slipped, did they even scout this many guys? Like, of course they did. They scouted that many guys times 10, times 12, times, 20. These scouting books are going to be 200-plus players deep in a draft that this year is only going to see 58 players picked. They're going to be all over it. They're going to be very well prepared. It just, now you're slightly further back. But this draft is so unpredictable that if they have their eyes on Player X might still be there or not. We don't really know because it's there. Now, as far as the lottery itself goes, absolute chaos, which is always a lot of fun, right? When you get this kind of stuff happening, like Atlanta jumps so far up and then Houston jumps so far up, like that's crazy. But I have a feeling that a couple of those teams are saying, man, we could have this happen last year, or we could have had this happen next year. And here we are in this draft. But by the time we get there, there's going to be good players. I'll leave it with this on this draft specifically. A bunch of people have said it's like that 2013 draft with Anthony Bennett, the pick number 1. And it's just, the draft's not very good. And, nobody knows and all that. That's true, but also that 2013 draft, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Rudy Gobert came out of that draft. So they'll be all-stars. It's on the teams to find them.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Keith Smith with us every week. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, as all our guests appear there. 901-360-8255 for you to text and talk at that very same number. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams, the Grizzlies and the Tigers, and that new location that's been open since early December at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his great team here to stay, and we appreciate them being with us. They're going to be with us at SEC Media Days like they were last year, and they will bring you all the leaderboard updates from the FedEx St. Jude Classic when we get out to Southwind come August. Plans being made, and we appreciate them. That's what they are. They're part of the fabric of the community, and we appreciate being with them. They're the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, wedding bands, 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Since 1970, with locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. When we get back to FedEx Forum, and we will soon, you have the FedEx Forum Floor Seat Lounge that they're proud to be associated with the Tigers and the Grizzlies, and FedEx Forum with that. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry. The Hawks with the number one pick, I was talking yesterday, probably the best thing for them in the draft since Pistol Pete. Well, last night I was looking at the Hawks in draft history. This will be the first time they've had the number one overall pick since 1974.
Whoa.
When they selected David Thompson. I'm sorry, 75, when they selected David Thompson, number one overall, and he signed with the ABA with the Denver Nuggets.
Wow. So not much good luck for the Hawks when it comes to being high in the draft.
He went number one overall that year. Number 3 was the eraser, Marvin Webster.
Wow. So we'll see what happens this year. Depends on who you talk to, but I think a lot of people saying this draft kind of leaves a lot to be desired. But hey, like Keith said, the last time that was said, you had a couple of really great players in that draft class. So.
Pistol Pete famously went number 3 in that draft. Marty Blake was running the Hawks then, and we had an author on with us one time here that did a book on Pistol Pete and told a very ribald story, and he told it as is.
Love that.
And we were quick to the dump button. But that year in the draft, they were third, number 1 overall with Detroit Pistons. They took Bob Lanier.
Sure.
Great pick, Hall of Fame player, can't argue with it. Number 2, either the San Diego Rockets or the Houston Rockets, maybe San Diego Rockets, took Rudy Tomjanovich. Good player.
Sure.
You can't argue with that. So the draft, very different then, not as elaborate now. Really, almost like a fantasy football draft. And over a speakerphone, they tell Marty Blake, said, Marty, you got 15 minutes for your next pick. And he said, I don't need 15 more minutes. We take Pistol Pete Maravich from LSU.
Good for him. Nowadays with all of the television and theatrics we have to go through during the drafts, never have that.
They were ready, and he didn't leave anything out. We were all in a scramble and getting to dump buttons that day.
Oh man, that sounds like an eventful segment. I've been a part of a couple of those, unfortunately, but draft is, you never know what to expect, and like I said, with this one, kind of seen some glimpses of guys with the draft combine, but it's gonna be interesting to see what these teams decide towards the top of the draft and kind of what this draft class turns into in 5, 6, 7 years. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. They're still playing golf up there in Kentucky at the PGA Championship. It's gonna be a long day today, even longer day tomorrow. So when we come back, we'll take a look at the leaderboard, see what's going on at the PGA Championship. That's next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Everyone has dreams, and if you've been dreaming of new appliances, Appliance Liquidators can make your dreams come true at any budget. Appliance Liquidators in South Haven is family-owned with low prices on appliances along with top-notch customer service. Choose from authorized brands including Crosley, GE, Maytag, LG, Whirlpool, and more. Appliance Liquidators specializes in clearance and scratch and dent. You get quality with minor imperfections at affordable prices. Stop dreaming and start living with new appliances from Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG 510-849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE 780-169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealers only. I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG highway, $199 a month, $34.99 do it signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 do it signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
You know, one thing we never talk about is how family-friendly Central Barbecue is.
Always has been.
At any Central Barbecue location.
And there are a lot of them.
You know your kids will have a good time and a great meal.
The kids' menu is perfect.
Everything from a grilled cheese to a junior barbecue sandwich to a hot dog, junior chicken sandwich, or classic mac and cheese, and they all come with a side and a small drink, all at a great price.
You just left me with literally nothing to say about kids at Central Barbecue.
I was just trying to be thorough.
You covered everything. What am I supposed to talk about?
The parking?
You just sold the whole commercial.
Are you looking for a better way to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment? Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy, and we'll market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Brett with you, and we got to give you a PGA Championship update. I almost said the Masters. We had Mike walked in, was looking at your Masters shirt. He started talking about the Masters. Lee Aldwin started talking about the Masters.
I was talking with you earlier about the Masters.
You were talking to me earlier. So it's been a very mastery day.
Before we get to leaderboard,
okay.
Lee Aldwin Seabury, I love your brain. It is working. We were talking about Hawks and number one pick. And during the break, Lee Aldwin asked me, he said, did they – he asked it was a question for him. Was Bill Russell number one overall? He was 2, which is a great question, and he was drafted by the Hawks before the trade for Easy Ed McCauley. So as we
another great draft pick for the Hawks that didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and you can get down that rabbit hole at Basketball Ref, and I'm at the Hawks page. I didn't know all this. And then I'm looking in 56, they take Russell, 2 overall. In 57, 4th overall of the first round, the man that put Memphis State Tiger basketball on the map, Win Wilfong.
Really?
John Wilfong's uncle.
Wow. How about that?
He was 4th overall player, 268 games played, 10 minutes, 1,826 points. And his team and his prowess in that run, famously in the NIT, back in the season of 56-57, established Tiger basketball.
Yeah. I fear by the time the draft finally rolls around, we're going to know the entire history of Atlanta Hawks draft
I may have it all
choices.
down by the end of this show.
You might,
glancing
honestly.
over.
I've never thought or a second about what the Hawks have done in the draft. I've learned more the last couple of days about Hawks draft picks than
I'm seeing Lenny Wilkins. I'm seeing my guy Lou Hudson. In the late 60s drafts, yeah, a lot. By the time we get to the draft,
that's right.
They won't deal that, will they?
No. I don't think anybody's going to want to trade up for it, if I'm being honest. I don't know.
And Keith Smith told us a few weeks ago, who really wants to be 1 and nobody wants to be 2.
Yeah, I mean, nobody. It's so hard, and that's what, I know there's a lot of people that want the Grizzlies to trade number 9. And the thing is, and sure, maybe teams fall in love with a couple players that are up there, but I mean, you got to have somebody to dance with if you're trying to make a trade. You can't just go out there and say, "Hey, we're trading it to you, and you're going to accept it." So I think it's going to be hard for any of these teams in the top 10, especially to kind of trade back. And certainly Atlanta. I mean, you're hearing people come out and say different things. I saw somebody the other day. I think it was an anonymous source, a scout or somebody, and said, drafting number 1 this year would be like, in this class, would be like taking like Tobias Harris with the number 1 overall pick. And so it's nobody thinks it's a good draft. And like, I know you're hearing the players talk about it now at the Combine, like they don't like hearing that. Of course they don't like hearing that. And I'm sure they'll be fine players, most of them. But I don't think it's a good draft. And
it feels like next year the number 1 overall is as can't miss as we've had in a while.
Absolutely. I mean, with Cooper Flagg and the hype that's around him, and there's another Duke guy that I'll be watching a lot of, Brett, and rooting for behind closed doors. Yeah, he'll be fun. And I think that team, there was a lot of worry about Duke this offseason because it just seemed like everybody was either entering the draft or entering the portal, but they've put together a really nice roster, and so I'm excited to see them. But yeah, this draft is going to be something, and I'll be honest, a lot of the names I hear thrown out for the Grizzlies, don't really like the idea of some of them. I don't like the idea of the big men that are there or that could potentially be there. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens for them.
And so much being made of Zach Edey and where he will go, and the pushback of any dalliance of the Grizzlies using that 9 for him. I said it back in the wintertime.
Sure.
I think we are still really burned by you can't teach 7 feet.
Well, that's a good point. I think everyone has, the beat in the back of his, the beat is in the back of your mind.
Hasheem Thabeet, though.
He is, but I just don't.
But we were really badly burned.
But honestly, and I'm starting to hear people also say this, and they might be right. And I forgot who I heard say this, either last night or earlier this morning. But they said basically, when you're drafting in this draft, you're not drafting a day 1 starter in this draft for the most part. There are a couple in there, but for the most part, you're drafting a role player, a guy that can come off the bench.
So if that's the case, and we're going to get to the leaderboard of it,
sure.
But if that's the case, then it's almost impossible for what I want is somebody in contention down at that spot. Or does it make it more possible?
I think it's more possible because of the kind of shuffle of
to be in the rookie of the year mix.
I mean, I think honestly, when you look at this draft, I think there is one player that is, I think everybody's pretty much in agreement on. He's going to go number 1. After that, it's like maybe like a tier under him is like 2 or 3 guys that are like in that tier, and then you go down another tier.
It's a couple groupings.
I mean, there's no like can't miss 1 or 2 guys. Last year you had Wembanyama, and then right behind him you had Scoot, you had Brandon Miller. I mean, you knew, hey, these are going to be the guys of this draft.
What tier is Ron Holland in?
I would put him probably in the 3rd or 4th tier, probably 3rd tier, depending on how many guys you want to put in each tier.
Is that production or unknown because we didn't see him in college basketball.
I think a lot of it's unknown. I don't exactly remember where he was coming out of high school, but I know highly recruited out of high school.
Came down to Texas and Arkansas.
Sure, and ended up going Ignite. And I know the one time I went and saw Ignite this year when they were in South Haven, he didn't play. He had a hand injury, missed the game, and so you just don't see those guys. I love Buzelis, another guy that was on Ignite. I think he's a great player, but another guy that just nobody sees because he's playing for Ignite. Now we don't have to worry about that because Ignite's shutting down, which I think is probably a good thing.
Good for college basketball?
Great for college basketball.
Or the enterprise of basketball?
I think good for college basketball because I do think the idea of G League Ignite and being in there and kind of learning the NBA system and the life of being an NBA player is a good thing. But for college basketball, I want those 5 stars, 4 stars to be playing at Arkansas and Memphis and Alabama.
And not, well, I was going to say not just selfishly, but a lot of it is selfish because I don't want college basketball being marginalized, being nichified any more than it already is.
Sure.
Because when we go to that 18-game NFL schedule, and that's probably 3 or 4 years out, and we don't have the end of the football monster until, I'm throwing dates around, that third Sunday in February, which would be, let's say, about February 20th or so, it's going to be hard for college basketball to ever take that stage and get some attention.
Yeah.
When we get to that 18th game in the NFL – and we have that day before Columbus Day Super Bowl, we're going to spend in sports talk radio and in kind of the emphasis around sports because of the football NFL monster. Well, we're going to spend 2 or 3 days after the game.
Mm-hmm.
Game on Sunday, we're going to wrap it up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, we're talking getting into 22nd, 23rd, 24th of February.
Right.
You're going to blink your eye, and the Super Bowl is going to end, and it's going to be Selection Sunday. And we're in not here in Memphis, I know, but around the country for the good of the enterprise of college basketball, we're going to forget about it.
Well, I think a good example of this is, and Brett, as you know, I speak a lot about it, but I sometimes tune into Seattle morning sports radio. They don't talk any college basketball.
There's no day-to-day talk.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And they don't have an NBA team.
No, they don't. But they've got the NFL, they've got Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. They've got so much other things up there.
Soccer,
NHL. They've got all these other professional sports that they never talk about college basketball. They talked a lot of college football this year, obviously with Washington being really good. But when you look, Washington basketball hasn't been very good. Washington State had something last year. So, it's definitely it's interesting how it kind of changes. I just looked, Ron Holland was number 2 in the 247 Sports Composite. So, yeah, people would have been having I think a much different conversation about him if he had played college basketball.
We're way off the PGA leaderboard. we will get to it at some point. They're playing till dark, so we got plenty of time to get to it. But for larger markets, markets that have one of the 4 major leagues in it. Mm-hmm. We're that with the Grizzlies.
Sure.
We're up there probably at the top of still day-to-day college basketball talk. I'm going to say from 15th of January. Now we're at it before then, but not many. Mm-mm. I mean, in DC, they're not especially with Georgetown's decline and slippage in Maryland.
Sure.
Even.
Yeah, I mean, you see that, and that, I mean, shows just how
Atlanta, not at all.
No, not at all. But
Houston, not at all.
But that shows how much that program means to the city. I mean, what that program has meant to the city and Tiger basketball. I mean,
and the SEC influence.
And the SEC, absolutely. And now what Ole Miss is doing
also,
and State.
We still talk, and we're not the only ones. A lot of others do it. A lot of shows here, a lot of shows other places. Still national.
Sure. But you don't get that national talk without that base of the of the local.
That starts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because you have to have that interest locally about those teams in your market, in your area, to even start to think about talking it nationally. So you're absolutely right.
Would you think there's a lot of day-to-day college basketball talk in Chicago?
No.
Minneapolis?
No.
New Orleans? None?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Maybe some LSU.
Sure, yeah, I think so.
When appropriate.
Yeah, but certainly not anywhere close to what they're talking about those other teams down there. And obviously those teams.
Charlotte for sure.
Charlotte, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Definitely with all of those schools around, they're definitely talking.
I was going to say Louisville for sure, but Louisville doesn't have one of those teams.
That's right.
They don't have one of the four professional teams.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not many at all. So it's interesting for sure.
And the NFL football monster, when it goes to 18, and starting with the college football playoff, Brian, we can't imagine the intensity next January, like all our college football guests that we usually let go around 10th, 11th or so of January.
That's a good point.
We're keeping them next year through the 21st, 22nd,
Absolutely.
23rd.
And that's another thing. I mean, because as long as college football is going on, I mean, college basketball takes that back seat. And you're going to be talking, and especially when you're talking playoffs and getting down to it, and you're in college basketball just getting down to, really just starting conference play.
And that's why we cannot afford any more slippage with the Tiger program.
That's right.
It's got to stay front burner.
Sure, absolutely. So it's a big year for them, for sure, for the Tigers. So, but yeah, no, I'm excited for the draft, and obviously Combine wrapping up in Chicago. So hopefully we'll get a little more idea of maybe who that group of guys the Grizzlies are taking. But if they go up there with number 9 and say we're drafting Zach Edey, I'm not going to be happy the next day. I'll just go ahead and say that.
It would freak people
I'm
out.
also not happy already. I got reminded at the lottery that it's a 2-day event now. I mean, give me a break.
I knew that.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about it, but
I don't know that I mind it.
I hate it.
Do you?
I'm
Okay.
so mad. I mean, but I also
I may hate it when it comes down.
I build my night around the draft, and I'm watching the whole thing from start to finish. And now I've got to do 2 nights of it. I mean,
Thursday, Friday, right?
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll become open to it.
I like drafts.
I love drafts, but
I like schedule releases.
Yeah, I'm not as much on schedule
and
releases.
I like promise PGA updates. We'll get to that
we
at 5:30.
will. Absolutely, we will. And definitely we'll be talking a lot about it at 5 o'clock with Dan Reardon. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard 3rd row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6, P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Don't miss the Grizzlies Garage Sale this Saturday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at FedEx Forum. Shop discounted Grizzlies gear, memorabilia, signed merchandise, and retro items, all supporting St. Jude's incredible fundraising efforts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, I got my big number today. It's a basketball big number. I got it from the TNT postgame show after last night's win.
So you watched the TNT postgame?
I did. Well, I watched the game and I just had it on.
I can't do it.
Really?
You know why?
Oh, because Draymond's on
That's
there.
it.
Well, yeah, I guess that is a factor. Yeah, I watched it, and they threw this up, and it became my big number.
Nope.
Glad you didn't watch it, because that means I know you don't have my big number. And I don't even know which part of this big number I want to highlight. I'm going to pick one, but I'm going to leave what I think is actually the most interesting part of it out.
Get it all in.
All right. I mean, both are going to be in there, but I'm going to highlight one of them. So Luka Doncic, my big number is 6. Luka Doncic last night, another triple-double for him. He now, in terms of the list of most postseason triple-doubles at age 25 or younger, he moves up to a tie for third. He's tied now with 6 postseason triple-doubles at age 25 or younger with LeBron James and Rajon Rondo. In front of him, only one more in front of him, Oscar Robertson with 7. But one person he will not pass in this attempt for the most postseason triple-doubles at age 25 or younger is Magic Johnson, who recorded 20 triple-doubles in the postseason before turning 26. That is incredible.
It is, and he's another one. Okay, just concede Jordan, James Jordan, best
sure.
1 and 2. Okay, fine. But for the sake of argument, and we can still argue and debate and discuss, can't we?
Of course.
Yes, of course we can, and we always will. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50. If it's against air, it's averaging 50. Kareem and offensive exploits and defensive, and then Magic Johnson. Those 3 can at least be in an argument, can't they?
Yeah, I think so.
And, transformational player for Magic Johnson. My big number is 100. Today is 100 days until the start of college football. It will fly by. But also, at the same time, flying by, it will seemingly be interminable. I don't know how that happens, but it will. 100 days ago was February 6th. That was Super Bowl week, and that's gone pretty fast, hasn't it?
It sure has.
That's how quick this will go. More college football kickoff times revealed, and no shocker, on Saturday, September 28th, 6:30 on ABC, will be Georgia visiting Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I will almost guarantee College Game Day will be at that one.
Absolutely. No, it's fun, with all of the college football scheduling news coming out and different things, people really getting excited for the college football season. There was a story that I saw this morning on ESPN, and then you texted me about it later in the day, where a bunch of writers at ESPN that cover college football put together various the most anticipated top 10s for the season that they thought were the best. And one of the writers put the top 10 group of 5 teams that could make the college football playoff, and that's one that's a lot more people are going to start talking about during the season. But right now, not a ton of talk. You've got Memphis, you've got Boise State, Fresno State up there, a couple. But ESPN had Memphis as the number 1 group of 5 team to be in the college football playoffs.
Right, I'm already getting some of this. It doesn't bother me, and I hope it doesn't grow, but if it does, fine, because there's no stopping it. But I'm getting some of it, the text line, and some tweets back at me about way too much hype about the Tigers, way too much hype about Ole Miss. Y'all need to slow down on this. You're going to look. It's not me doing it.
No,
I'm not Bill Connolly at ESPN. Who was the author of the story that had the Tigers as the number 1 G5 team?
I don't remember. I think it was Bill Connolly. Yeah,
at ESPN, he has Ole Miss 6. Has Jackson Dart Heisman rankings? I think it's like the 4th, something like that, 4th best. FanDuel. They're the ones driving this.
Exactly.
That's not Brett and Bryant doing it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, that is.
It's not like we're picking out, Washington State and saying they're going to be in it.
No.
We're talking about it because it's local, and it will be the biggest football run-up to football season ever for both Ole Miss and Memphis.
Absolutely.
And the very real potential that they could meet in a first-round campus game on that day of everything colliding December 21st.
That would be a wild day. I mean, NFL, college football with the Tigers playing Mississippi State in basketball. I mean, get some good sleep the night before.
And I've had some come at me pretty hard of you're setting a bar where Ryan Silverfield can't get over it. Or Ole Miss, they won't do it. They never have. I'm not doing it. But what I am doing is I'm talking about something that's coming up in the immediacy.
Right.
I'm not talking about a second weekend team next year for a team that didn't go to the tournament this year.
Right.
And that seems to be the sentiment from some that are in that kind of category, that they want more of that. Ryan Silverfield, with his 10 wins last year and winning the Liberty Bowl, he deserves this run-up.
Sure.
Lane Kiffin has been to not one but 2 college football playoff type bowl games.
Yeah.
The Sugar Bowl his second year, and last year in the Peach Bowl. We're not picking out a team that went 5-7 last year and doing it.
Not at all. No, this is a team that has shown they've gotten better. They've been able to retain guys.
We're not talking about a team that lost to Dickies Arena to Wichita State in second weekend garbage.
Day 1. I mean, good Lord. Give me a break. Yeah, so, I mean, no, you're absolutely right. So I think the hype is needed. I think the hype should be there, and I think it's only going to build as we get closer and closer to the season for good reason. And once that season starts and the results are on the board, then that will really tell the story. So I'm excited about it. I know a lot of other people are as well. Well, let's wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the PGA Championship with Dan Reardon from KMOX.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
All of us tend to overdo things a little bit once spring takes hold, and some of the time we might wake up with a little bit of a headache and a lot of appetite. Your answer to a big night before is a breakfast or lunch at Sunrise. Sunrise East on Poplar and Sunrise on Jefferson are made for filling your belly with sweet relief. Have some signature square biscuits, some perfectly prepared eggs, or at lunch, a nice juicy Sunrise burger. And if your night before isn't quite over, both Sunrise locations have a full bar. Sunrise on Poplar and Sunrise on Jefferson, the perfect place to get over last night.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Hot wings. What's your favorite flavor? The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 32 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Crazy Lemon Twist, a savory, zesty, and citrusy taste of fresh lemon twist. The Jalapeno Cheddar, an acidic and spicy flavor completed with a burst of sharp cheddar. Or Crazy Sweet Heat, tangy sweetness followed by the heat. And that's just 3 of the amazing 32 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the Crazy Coop Special. Choose from 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, fries, and drink, all for just $9.99. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You could just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's pretty busy now trying to get out of Midtown. Here we go, 240 southbound as you come past South Parkway all the way down to Norris. It's busy over around the zoo this afternoon. Watching it slow down even more so over here on 240 east up by Poplar. It's not the worst we've ever seen it, but it's still busy. 240 still looks good as you get on to 385 Billmores Parkway going outbound. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk about the PGA Championship, Dan Reardon, the golf reporter for KMOX up in St. Louis, joins us now. Dan, thanks so much for joining us for a little bit. You're up in Kentucky for the PGA Championship. I know the big storyline going into this weekend was weather. It sounds like it's going to be a factor all weekend long. What is the word right now around the course, and what will tomorrow look like after a little late start today because of fog, but for the most part, it's been fairly clear. What do you expect for tomorrow going into the weekend?
Yeah, today has been an ideal day for golf. They have enough of an overcast. We had, as you said, that fog delay at the beginning of the thing. I think the softness of the course created some of these early scores that were so good. As far as tomorrow is concerned, as I checked the local weather, we're not looking at rain until mid-afternoon or early afternoon tomorrow. There's no indication of thunderstorms, and then a little overnight rain on Friday, but it looks like we're clear for the weekend. So I think
that's great.
Things have picked up quite a bit since that time. And if my memory is correct, looking at this leaderboard, people in Memphis are sort of rooting for Xander Schauffele, who opened with the 62.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure we are, because of we know he would be here come August, and a live player would not be.
But anyway, he got out with 9 birdies and no bogeys, a perfectly clean card, 62, equals a number of records with that. It's sort of odd when we talk about major championships, but the 9 under total has been matched a couple of times. Rory McIlroy shot 9 under at the Open Championship at St. Andrews, and Greg Norman shot 9 under 63 at the Masters, but those were rounds of 63. And then the 62, well, that was last year when Schauffele shot 62 and Ricky Fowler shot 62 at LA Country Club, but both of those were 8 under rounds. So in a way, his 62 is truly a unique score, because it's not only 9 under, it's 62, and we haven't seen that combination posted in a major championship.
It is, and the big question around Xander Schauffele is, can he carry it all the way through Sunday? He is, I think, without argument, the best player right now to not have a major.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and sarcastically, I would say that he's been living in Greg Norman territory for an awfully long time, the king of the 54-hole leads. Mm-hmm. But hopefully, and it's really going to be challenging for a player to come back after a round of 62 tomorrow. He has the early late, so he's going to sit on that thought for a long period of time. But he got dusted on Sunday by Rory and came back with a pretty strong response. So I don't think mentally Schauffele is a player that we have to challenge in that regard. And we should mention right now he has a 3-stroke lead over Tony Finau and Sahith Theegala. And quite honestly, the afternoon has not been an electric afternoon. Really, as I look at this board, out of the top 12 or 13 names on the board, only 2 of them are currently on the course. That's Thomas Dietrich and Tom Kien. They're both 4 under, and they actually dropped to 4. They were 5, and they dropped back to 4 under. So it's going to be that this pretty much the leaderboard we're talking about. And by the way, mentioning Rory, he got out and shot 65, so he's right in the hunt at 66, and he's right in the hunt at 5 under.
They could replicate last Sunday in Charlotte, this Sunday in Louisville, couldn't they?
They could replicate it Saturday as well. And by the way, we should point out the other electric moment we have. Scotty Scheffler coming back off of paternity leave. What did he do on his first hole? He holed out his second shot on the par 4 from 167 for a 2. And he's now 3 under. I think Scheffler is now 3 under through 12 holes.
We talk a lot of NBA here with the Memphis Grizzlies, and today I was thinking there's a lot of comparisons between Nikola Jokic and Scotty Scheffler. They're probably not as appreciated as they should be, and they're just going out there and doing it game in, game out, year in, year out. But for Scotty Scheffler, until he gets one apart away from Augusta National, people are gonna have questions, aren't they, Dan?
This came up in a conversation on the station earlier this week when we were talking about the PGA Championship, and I know a lot of attention was given to the fact that the Masters had low television ratings and golf ratings in general have not been very great, and then Scheffler being the poster boy right now for the PGA Tour bears the brunt of that. And what I said in response to that is, I think we're in a really good situation with professional golf. Set aside the LIV controversy, just take the PGA Tour in and of itself. And I said, what we're blessed with is a lot of good players, but we may not have great personalities. And given my preference for the game of golf, I would rather see good players than good personalities. The personalities tend to come and go unless their name is Woods. and the players stay around for a long period of time. And right now, Scotty Scheffler looks like a guy who is a player more than a personality. And quite honestly, if you're ever around him in an interview setting, he's an entertaining guy. He's just not flamboyant. He goes out and expects to play well, and when he plays well, he doesn't go nuts trying to celebrate it.
Do you think he ever becomes magnetic, big personality?
Yeah, I know somebody who was very close to the management inside the Masters at the time that Jordan Spieth won the Masters. And I was told that the people at the Masters were not excited about Jordan Spieth winning the Masters because they thought he was a little bit dull as a personality. And we know that going forward, Jordan Spieth, even though, and he played well today, but going forward, Jordan developed a kind of personality that made him sort of lovable or likable. And I know young kids, I'm a lot around young kids and playing high school golf, and I know that young kids attach themselves still very much to Jordan Spieth as one of their idols. I don't know that Scheffler will have that same kind of effect on the game, but I'm just not ready to dismiss him because he doesn't pound his fist every time he makes a birdie.
But we're also in an era, still sorting out post-Tiger, and while 2019 at Augusta was so much fun and so special, it kind of energized Tiger Mania, and it's just going to be impossible to replace both on the course those scores, that play, and that personality. Whether it's bouncing the ball off the wedge, or it's all the endorsements, or it's the Sunday red and the Sunday black, and the fist pump. There's just no way to fill that void.
And we've known that for the longest period of time. Even before Tiger's career began to ebb, we knew that we weren't going to see that kind of thing. And it wasn't just the golf. It was the whole package of Tiger. I've probably used the same analogy with you guys. I've always said that Tiger was to golf what the Beatles were to music. They're a one-of-a-kind phenomenon, and it wasn't just the music, and it wasn't just the long hair for the Beatles, and it wasn't just the wins for Tiger. It was the fact that he had a black face and that he had a different background, and all those things came together in a way that golf had never seen before, and they packaged it, and then he was able to produce, and we're never in my lifetime going to see anybody do over a 10-year period of time what Tiger did. They always ask me who's the greatest player in the history of the game, and I say I still think the numbers bear out that Nicklaus is probably that. But for a decade, nobody in golf has ever done what Tiger would do, and I'm not going to be around to see anybody do that again.
And it was great to watch. Dan Reardon with us at the PGA Championship at Valhalla in Louisville. Mr. Tiger Woods today, pretty good 72, wasn't it?
It is a good 72, but you got to put it in perspective. He shot 1 over 72 today, and he shot 1 over 73 at Augusta. Okay, so he shot 2 1 over rounds. After the first round at Augusta, he was tied for 35th. Right now, he's tied for 86th. With the 1 over round. We have 66 players either in or on the course in red numbers. So relative to the entire field, this is not a good circumstance for Tiger. The 72 looks great because it's close to par, but in the sense of the way this golf course is played, he's very much staring at not making the cut for the weekend unless he does something in the 60s tomorrow.
Wow. How much we talked earlier about the weather and maybe that afternoon rain, how much could that hurt him, affect him if we're starting and stopping and trying to play the game with the rain tomorrow?
Well, and I did say the rain that we're supposed to get is supposed to come in the afternoon. Yeah. So if anybody's going to experience it, it'll be the afternoon wave, and that includes Schauffele and the other players that were so good this morning. So, yeah, that's a possibility. But, again, as I said, and I'm not a weatherman, obviously, but the weather that I checked makes no suggestion of storms. They make suggestions of rain, and you won't start and stop in the rain. Right. You'll just continue to play. And does that work to Tiger's disadvantage? No, not particularly. What works to Tiger's disadvantage at this point in his career is not whether he's viable as a player or can do things on the golf course and can make par a legitimate score for him to shoot. The problem is he can't come into a tournament and do what he did here in 2000. In 2000, which was the third leg of the Tiger Slam, he shot 18 under par to win this championship. I don't care, in the best possible circumstance, Tiger doesn't have 18 under par in his game over a four-day period of time. And to expect that is unreasonable of a guy that's 48 years old.
Absolutely.
That was peak Tiger, though, in 2000. What he did at Pebble Beach that year, just everything about him in that stretch is why we talk about him. So if Tiger was the Beatles, you're saying Jack Nicklaus was Elvis?
Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe more like the Beach Boys, but
I got you. That's good. Dan, this is the fourth time for Valhalla to host the PGA Championship. I think it is now fully owned. The course is fully owned by the PGA of America, the Ryder Cup, famously there in 2008, and it was spectacular what they did in Louisville in their hosting duties, that pep rally that Thursday night and the introduction of the teams. It was, and the captaincy of Paul Azinger was all just really, really wonderful. Fourth time to host this championship. All three, two of the three have had playoffs. One was one stroke, Rory McIlroy besting Phil Mickelson for that one. So Sunday afternoon, do you think we could be on a collision course to make it another playoff?
If they continue to put up the kind of scores we're looking at, yeah, because you have so many potential players. And by the way, I believe that now the course has been completely bought out, that the PGA America has no financial interest in the golf course.
Okay.
But in terms of the playoff, it was not only the first playoff was Kenny Perry and
Mark Brooks.
Mark Brooks, and that's when infamously Kenny Perry sat in the television tower and talked his way through the end of Brooks' round and didn't go down and warm up, and that probably cost him the championship. The Bob May Tiger round, and Tiger was asked about it, that final round was as good a final round as we've seen Tiger go head-to-head with a player in his career, and it previewed what we were going to see the rest of his career in terms of that putt he made on 18 to get into the playoff and the way they play. And Tiger freely admits that the back and forth between him and May was something that he just enjoyed tremendously. So when you look ahead to Sunday, yeah, that possibility is there. The Rory win was sort of not tainted in the sense of Rory winning, but it played out so bizarrely because it was literally total darkness that they played into. And it's the only time in my history of 100 and whatever majors I've ever seen the final group be told to hit into the group ahead of them. They came up at 18, and it was so dark, and the PGA was determined they were going to get that round in. And Rory's in the fairway, and Mickelson's on the green on that par 5, and they told him, go ahead and play into 18, and they did. And I'm telling you, Mickelson was really angry about that circumstance because of it. So that championship is a little odd. He won it at 16 under. He had the great 3-wood that he had a 10 on the final day of the tournament to make eagle. But it's a little different than the other two. I think the possibility of playoff is more likely if we continue this kind of scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to Dan Reardon from CAMOX, he joins us to talk the PGA Championship. You mentioned Phil Mickelson. He's one of the live guys out there. I was telling Brett earlier, it's always interesting to see them all in their shirts with the logos on them and the team hats and stuff like that for their live teams. But one guy that's fairly new to live, John Rahm, Brett and I were kind of talking about him earlier. He's currently still playing 3 over right now. And last time we saw him was at the Masters when he shot 9. He finished 9 over for the week. And before the Masters, he was talking a lot about how he believed that his move to live would bring the two sides closer and maybe create something between the two. And that clearly hasn't happened. But it looks like we're seeing a different John Rahm. I mean, he just looks different out there. Do you think this move has done something mentally to him that is just not there right now like he was before he made that move to live, or do you think that's looking a little too far into it?
I talked to a couple of people who I respect who are far better connected than I am, and they said, set aside the money like you can set aside $600 million. They said that Rahm is regretting the decision, that he misses playing on the tour. But at the same time, if we're talking about LIV, Brooks Koepka shot 4 under par today. He's in at 67, so he's carrying the flag very well for that organization.
He sure is. And Big Game Brooks going for back-to-back. And we saw him in St. Louis at Belle Reve in 2018. in just some of the great days of golf ever. Dan Reardon, I promise you, 1996, on that Sunday afternoon that Kenny Perry stayed in the TV tower too long, I'm at Busch Stadium, old Busch Stadium 2 as they call it, Sportsman Park 1, Busch Stadium 2, and now they're in 3. I'm there all weekend for a Cardinals-Pirates series. And when the game ends about 4:30 on Sunday, I got a couple of things to do in the clubhouse. I get in my car, and I hear this great golf reporter on KMOX radio as I'm driving down I-55 saying, inexplicably, he was in the broadcast booth instead of out on the practice area, and it was our guest, Dan Reardon.
You know, I fault the broadcast team, though. They should have told him to leave. I think those guys are golf people. And Kenny was not young at that time, but he was young to that experience. Mm-hmm. And they should have said, thank you, we appreciate you being there, and let him go. And he just didn't have the good sense to do that. And then if you recall, and I don't remember the year, he had the same unfortunate circumstance that he had a really great shot at winning the Masters and then lost it coming down to the wire. Kenny Perry has always been sort of an enjoyable player to watch, had a great career went after he turned 40, but those are two moments, that Masters loss and the loss at the PGA Championship that he'll always regret.
And home state guy, Kentuckian, and I think he got enamored with the dialogue and the conversation. Dan, I think they were trying to get him out of there. He got too comfortable.
I fully agree with you. And by the way, the turnaround to that was Mark Brooks paid the price for that later on, because if you recall,
in 2001,
he lost the playoff at the U.S. Open at Southern Hills. Wow. And the byline, the postscript on that is after he lost that playoff, he pulled out of the parking lot and somebody ran into his car.
Oh no! And that's when the U.S. Open was still an 18-hole playoff on Monday, and I was at that 2001 U.S. Open at Southern Hills, but had the non-refundable flight and had to get out of town on Sunday night. So I'm out there for 4 days and didn't even see a winner crowned.
Oh man!
And that was one of the worst displays of putting on the final hole in regulation that we ever saw. I've forgotten who the third player was, but Retief Goosen was part of that. Mark Brooks was somebody, and they all had a chance to win the championship, and they just couldn't handle the moment.
And Stuart Sink, he missed the shortest.
There you go.
Jeez.
There you go.
That's too bad. All right, Dan, looking back at the top of the leaderboards, you mentioned it earlier, Schauffele at 9 under in first place, but right behind him, Tony Finau, Sahith Theegala, both 6 under, Rory, and a couple other guys sitting there at 5 under. Who's the guy that maybe today finished 2 under, 1 under, just a good day, not a great day, but you think we should keep an eye on going into the weekend that could really make a move up to the top?
Well, let's be really provocative and throw 2. One is coming off of Augusta, and DeChambeau is in at 3 under, and DeChambeau had 3 good days at Augusta, didn't have a final day. And a name we haven't heard of virtually all year, and yet at the end of last year looked like the future king of golf. Victor Hovland shot 3 under today. And, we all know that if Hovland is on, and we haven't seen him on the entirety of 2024, I think Hovland is an interesting name to work. And the most entertaining winner would be if Tom Kim came through with this win.
Oh, that'd be great. Love to see Tom Kim out there. I was watching earlier today on ESPN, and they were showing back last year when he fell into all that mud
at Los Angeles.
That's right, at Los Angeles.
I don't know what he got into quicksand, didn't he, Dan? I didn't know there's that much mud in L.A. County.
Oh man.
By the way, Jason Duffner, talk about a blast from the past. Jason Duffner is on the course at 3 under par. He's got 3 holes to play. We all can recall when Jason Duffner was the flavor of the month and everybody was doing Duffner at the airports and things like that.
We can. Dan Reardon, you are the best. It's so much fun to always catch up with you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dan.
Enjoyed it, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Dan Reardon from KMOX in St. Louis, and isn't he great?
Oh, he's so much fun to talk to, and those stories, and I mean, it's great.
I know it's often said it almost becomes a little bit trite, a little bit cliched. he's as nice
Yeah.
in person as he sounds.
That's great.
Over the air and visiting with everyone in all those majors. He gave us the number of domestic majors. He's never been to the Open Championship, and I think he was around 133
that's a ton.
Around the Masters, and that's just about every major except for COVID year back however far, 84, 85.
Yeah.
He told us 86 Masters.
Yeah.
Jack Nicklaus winning was his first Masters that started the
good
streak.
Masters to start with, I guess.
That is a good one. It's going to be good action. I don't mind birdies.
No, absolutely not. No.
I'm not opposed. If somebody won 19, 20 under, that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, it's kind of like
Low man wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like when you're talking about basketball or something. They're like, oh, they're shooting too many threes, and
I don't mind points.
No, I don't either. It's fun.
I want to be entertained. I can see plenty of bogeys with my buddies.
Oh, absolutely, plenty.
I get all the bad golf. I can say grace over. Everybody, get ready for your family road trip for this summer at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, right down Highway 78, first exit into Mississippi. It's Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there, and you can get ready for a new Silverado or Tahoe or Suburban, up to 30 miles per gallon with your new All-Star Chevy, Equinox, or Trailblazer, financing down to 1.9, no payments for a full 90 days. All-Star Chevrolet also with a great deal on a new 24 Blazer EV. Get charged up for this with a 36-month lease on this Blazer EV at just $369 a month, only $2,500 down, and the usual tax, title, and license. For details, ask any sales consultant at All-Star Chevrolet. You can see all the Silverados down there. Discounts up to $10,500 and 1.9 financing. College students, college grads, military, teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, all instantly with an extra $500 bonus back. You want something pre-owned, they have it. Trucks, a Corvette, Jeeps, they've got it. And we close in on Memorial Day at the end of this month and commemorate Memorial Day. Our friends at All-Star, they want us to remind everyone to remember all who have made the ultimate sacrifice serving our great country, and, of course, their families. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending. We'll also take another look at the leaderboard at the PGA Championship. So stick with us. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease, plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Collierville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshot's 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Collierville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Are you looking for a better way to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment? Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy and will market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's still quite a bit of volume over here on 40 eastbound as we stare at it live here from Sycamore View Road out past Germantown Parkway, continuing on into Fayette County. Yes, it's still sluggish at times. It's not the worst we've ever seen it, but it's busy. 240 east at Poplar. Still some volume coming off 240 on to 385 Billmore's Parkway, which has been in pretty good shape so far as you head on out into Collierville. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry. They're located 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. About 30 minutes left in today's show. If you're tuning in and you haven't gotten the news yet about Ole Miss baseball, they moved that game up to 4 o'clock. We'll join in progress once we're done here at 6 o'clock. But I just looked for a little score update. I believe 5-1 the score. LSU up on top of Ole Miss. So we'll get over there once we're done here at 6 o'clock and catch the end of that game as Ole Miss down in Baton Rouge. We promised a leaderboard update earlier in the show, and we got completely sidetracked after.
We really did.
I mean, that's what happens when you're talking to Keith Smith about basketball. I mean, it's hard not to keep talking basketball when you're done. So a quick little look at the leaderboard. Xander Schauffele, he is in the lead, 9 under. Tony Finau, Heath Thagala, both T2. Rory McIlroy, Robert McIntyre at 5 under T4.
Would you believe I had Robert McIntyre on my shock list as number 3?
Brett, that's your guy. You know, there's been a lot of times.
The smooth lefty, Bobby McIntyre.
Oh, yeah, old Bob McIntyre. That does not shock me at all.
I swear I did.
Well, and you told me that before we started and asked the same question to me off air. And I'll be honest, this morning when I was watching and I saw old Bobby McIntyre, I said, there's Brett's guy.
The sweet swinging lefty.
So I'm not surprised at all. Your guy, Brooks Koepka, T6 right now.
I don't mind
at
where Brooks
4
Koepka
under.
is.
No, I don't think he should be at all. I always say, and always as we get later and later into golf picks, I always say it more and more, that I don't really like my guy being number 1 at the end of the day. Today I do. I love it. But I like my guy kind of sitting a little back, kind of seeing how it plays out.
Koepka eagled his 16th hole, which was number 7. He started on 10. He bogeyed his 8th hole of the day, number 17.
Yeah.
That was only a misstep on the card for him, 35 on the back and then 32 on the front for a total of 67.
Yeah, so a really good day for him out there. And, like you said, big game Brooks, he always finds a way to step up and make some really good shots.
Would you believe that 4th on my shock list was Ben Coles, who had a 4 under round today?
Oh, Brett, now you're pulling my leg.
I am. I'm
I was about to say, there's no way you had been.
Don't believe that.
No way. No way at all.
Earlier, I referenced him and didn't even know his name and just said a group of golfers and said Coles.
That's great. Yeah, so
could have been Bimbo Coles.
Could have been anything. Could have been the store Coles. Spelled differently, I think.
Yeah.
But now,
former owner of the Bucks, Senator Cole, the late
that's
Senator
right.
Robert Cole.
That's right. Scotty Scheffler, he was 3 under when we were talking about him earlier. Now 4 under. So he's moving. He just birdied 13. He's unbelievable.
What about my Jokic-Scheffler comparison?
I like that.
That's not bad if I say so myself.
Not flashy at all.
I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back. But
no, but I like it. Kind of two guys that are just out there doing their job, not flashy and
boring.
Yeah.
I hate that word.
Yeah, but I mean, certainly to just like a casual golf observer or a basketball observer, yeah.
Drop a house on you don't even realize
Exactly. When I saw someone on social media this morning was kind of talking about Jokic and saying, like, you watch, like, Rudy Gobert's doing everything he can defensively. It's just Jokic is doing what very few players can do, and that's kind of the same thing as Scotty Scheffler is, like, you don't realize it, but he's out there just doing things that guys shouldn't be doing. And I've been noticing that putter is starting to look better. I mean, don't look now, but he's starting to sink putts.
Everybody. They said Tiger Woods even said it, that if he putts, nobody else has a chance.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of putts he's made today. Now, obviously.
I give you your credit for Xander Schauffele. Really good pick.
Thank you.
Oh,
we're going
to go back to the panic shot.
I was flustered.
That was really a sad radio moment.
I'll be honest, Brett. I come into the day, I'm always so prepared for golf picks. I've got 1 through 8. And I remember Johnny. Johnny asked me once, he said, Brian, you're picking last, or you're picking second last. Why do you go all the way from 1 to 8? And I told him, I said,
just in case.
You never know what could happen. I just like to have 1 through 8 because I know there are 8 picks. So I know that I can at least get 2 out of these 8 for sure. And he was like, that's a good point. Well, yesterday, just such a busy day, hectic day, lot going on here. I'm trying to do golf. I look up, it's like 250. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get golf picks. Then I look up, it's like 345. I'm like, I got to get golf picks. So I start writing them down. I'm like, ooh, I love Ludwig Oberg. I mean, like I haven't been keeping up with him this entire year, knowing that he's been playing good golf. And then we get to the moment. I'm so proud of myself for these picks. I throw it out. I have nobody behind him and Brooks Koepka as my potential shock picks. And so I'm up a creek without a paddle. And the first name, I'm just like going through my mind of like, who could I pick? So I immediately go to Live Guys. Wish I had gone out with somebody like Cam Smith, who's been playing really well today, and I go with Dustin freaking Johnson. Give me a break.
Yeah, he's got to have a really good day tomorrow. He seems almost as disinterested as John Rahm. Look, guys, you took the cash.
But wasn't that almost the problem with him when he was on the PGA Tour? Like, towards the end, it was like, does he really want to be here?
He's so talented.
Talented.
But really good life. Life's made.
Yes.
Your father-in-law is a god of a country.
Only owns an entire sport.
Rob Fisher always said, we talk about great sports nuggets, records, the unbreakables, and he woke me up to this. Wayne Gretzky would be the all-time leading scorer in NHL history.
Yes.
If he had never scored a goal, he would be just with assist. That's everything.
It's incredible.
That's up there with Fernando Tatis with two grand slams off the same pitcher in the same inning.
It's
not
incredible.
Not going to be top.
No, never going to be top. It's incredible.
And when your father-in-law is Gretzky and you got
Great one.
Got your fall Masters, I don't want to do that to him, but that was COVID year and he won it with the November Masters, but he won it. He's got other majors. How hungry can he be? Should he be?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I have a buddy who's a massive hockey fan. I mean, hockey is by far his favorite sport. Played it all growing up,
youth hockey guy.
Oh yeah. Grew up playing it, juniors, that sort of thing. And he always tells me, he goes, only one guy gets the nickname, the Great One. You don't throw that around to anybody, and Gretzky gets it. I don't hear many other the Great Ones in any other sport or any other player. So good life.
Unlike maybe broaching the subject of Wilt Chamberlain against LeBron or Michael or LeBron,
exactly,
or Magic or Kareem, there's not one.
No, it's the Great One. So he's got good life, and then you tack on the money that Liv paid him, and why would you? You're just going out there enjoying a round of golf. Okay, I missed the cut.
Gretzky's your wife.
Exactly. Okay, I missed the cut. Let me hop on a plane and go literally wherever I want to go.
64 golfers right now under par, even par better, 85.
That's crazy.
So they're tearing it up today.
Sure are. And like Dan said, I mean, soft course conditions today, and that's certainly seemingly helping. And we'll see tomorrow. I think it's great news, like he said, that sounds like any rain they get will be in the afternoon tomorrow. It sounds like the thought that we had of maybe some thunderstorms, some serious weather up there, might be a little out of the way, and maybe we're looking at just some rain, and I think that would be great for this weekend.
Sean McKeel with +5, that's 76. T146, John Daly, 155th. 155, 80, 82.
I was just about to ask, where's our boy JD?
Way back.
Not great. Only one behind him.
Rich Beam, +8. Not a good day for a couple of past champions.
No.
It's a lot of golf course.
A lot of golf course.
Big golf course on a big, gigantic
We were talking about that earlier. I mean, some of those blimp shots and just, watching the golf. I mean, there is a lot of space out there. So, but it'll be a fun weekend and see who can.
Y'all gonna hold it down tomorrow?
Oh yeah. Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
Headed to St. Louis tomorrow. Absolutely. Be off tomorrow and Monday. What can I expect from the Cardinals this weekend? Get one, maybe.
I mean, the Red Sox are such a tricky team because
they're right around 500.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll come out there and they'll look like okay.
Have
it's
they played
a good team.
their best baseball?
Yeah, maybe because I don't think we expected anything from them to start the season, and they played really well to start the year. I like the pitchers you're seeing this week, and Cutter Crawford, one of my favorite pitchers to watch right now in Major League Baseball. So he'll be fun. Problem is you'll get 4 or 5 good innings from him, and then he'll start kind of losing it. defense gets a little shaky behind them, not getting much from the bats, and usually ends up being a loss for them.
We referenced the Bill Connolly ESPN 100 Days to College Football. There's going to be a lot of it. This really is countdown begins at 199 tomorrow and into this weekend to week 0. A lot of long think pieces, but the reason why there's going to be even more of that this year of all the college football unknowns. And I like that we're primary in that story.
Sure.
In this area, our target audience, primary.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's awesome. I think, looking at what this team, and I know we talked about the Tigers and kind of this hype around them earlier, but that's ESPN that's putting it out there and saying, be on the lookout for this team. And, I think, like you said earlier, that's only going to grow, and I think that hype's going to continue to build, and you're going to see a lot of stories like this from ESPN. You'll see CBS will do something similar. I'm sure it'll be David Cobb, who writes like
and the
team's lookout
at Media Days.
Yes, so you're going to see a lot of it, and it's really fun. I think it gets a lot of excitement in this city. I know Ryan Silverfield retweeted it earlier today, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be this weekend and into the weekend. A lot of great food choices, and that includes Jason's Deli with all their great locations. There's a location, I promise you, very close to you wherever you are in our area, right over here on Ridgeway Road across from MUS, by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, out in Cordova. They have you covered. You can always check them out online at jasonsdeli.com, whether it's dining in, to go, or delivery. They've got you covered. And if you've got an event coming up, a lot of graduation events coming up, let them take care of it. Catering 5 or 5,000, same day and last minute orders welcomed. If you feel like you're a little overwhelmed, you don't have your event just right, step aside, let them step in. That's when they take over and do it right. Bringing more to the table. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli with over 200 Memphis area associates for everything you want in the location, and for delivery and for catering. Off the menu, like the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, my favorite, the taco salad, all the great sandwiches, Bryant's favorite, the beef eater, so many great salads, all the meats, the cheeses, the breads, the spreads, and it's all good and good for you. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and in all these locations, you can count on that salad bar. Over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like, and you can also count on the complimentary free ice cream over on Ridgeway Road, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and over by the U of M at Poplar and Highland. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family at the best prices of the year, guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
When it's time for a brake job, go with a solution that delivers one of the smoothest and most quiet rides on the road. Napa Silent Guard brakes. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad. Rubber-coated hardware for a better fit on 99.5% of vehicles. And quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Napa Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power and performance drivers demand in their vehicles. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG510 $849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE78169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealers stock only. I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Moriah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is we're going to get a lot of 3 teams in prime time after the schedules were announced. The Cowboys, the 49ers, and the Jets are all tied for the most prime time games this season with 6 apiece. Obviously, I'm happy about it for the Cowboys. Love Cowboys in prime time. I can't get enough of America's team.
Parade route drawn up yet?
I think last night seeing the schedule definitely helped. We definitely took a step.
Outline.
That's right. So now we can start looking at maybe like venues and stuff like that the parade ends at or something like that. What route we want to take.
We'll be here for you.
I think I'm gonna need it probably. But the 49ers also for good reason get a lot of primetime games, and the Jets. With Aaron Rodgers back healthy, it's going to be another year of what can this Jets team be, and hopefully we see a full year of Aaron Rodgers.
We got a Raider fan among us.
We do have a Raiders fan among us. Lee Albin, did you like the Raiders schedule last night?
It was okay.
Everybody loves the schedule.
It's all right.
It's just okay. And big year expected for the Raiders, too.
Yeah.
Big year. What I learned going to be very different going forward in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell, their best player, will probably be gone. J.B. Bickerstaff, it feels like he will probably be out. But could LeBron James be headed back to the land?
I don't know, Brett.
He's kind of abused them, hasn't he?
Maybe a little bit. But he's LeBron. I mean, he can do what he wants.
But if he's back, it means probably Bronny, sell a lot of tickets.
Sure.
You take it, don't you?
Yo, absolutely. I mean, anybody takes it.
Yeah, you take it.
Absolutely, 100%. If LeBron says he wants to come to your
he did bring him
team,
a championship.
He did. I think they love him for that.
Draymond Green helped out a lot in that series.
Well, that is true. What I could have done without today, it's the growing talk of Zach Edey potentially being a Memphis Grizzly.
So you're hard
I'm
resistant.
hard now. It's at maybe in the second round if he's still there in the second round.
You can't teach 7-2.
You can't. But I mean, I think I'm more against...
I was a Hasheem guy.
You were.
I'm one of the few that will still admit.
Well, good for you.
It was dumb.
Credit to you for that. I think what I'm the most against, and what I'm more against beyond anything, is this idea that you have to fix the center spot in this draft. That's ridiculous. I think you've got to go out, and we've talked about this before, Brett. You go out to this draft, if you're going to keep 9, which I think that's what they'll probably end up doing, you just take best available. And if you think one of these other guys can come in and do something, I think that's huge. I heard, like I said, I heard someone say earlier today that once you get outside of 3 or 4, you're mainly drafting guys that are just going to come in and play a role. There's no real stars, at least on face value. Now, some of them could develop into stars.
One out there.
Absolutely, certainly, there will be stars out of this draft.
Castle from UConn could be.
He could. He certainly could. I like Castle a lot. But I think this trying to force a center to the Grizzlies is a terrible idea. And so I'm not on team draft Edey.
I mentioned it earlier. Last night could have done without. Nope, no way, never. I'm not watching Draymond Green. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it as an analyst. He may be great. He may be smart. We know he's a champion. We know he's a winner. Nope. I wanted to watch NBA talk on TNT, and there he was, and away I go.
Wow.
It's going to be instant.
Wow.
As fast as I can get to the remote controller. I'm not doing it.
It's like a race. You start scrambling and find the remote and flip it to something else, I guess. I watched it, but, it was okay, I guess. You should give it a try, Brett. You should,
Probably should.
No. You stand your ground, Brett. Where are you beaming tonight?
So I'm beaming to St. Louis for the weekend. Birds in Boston. Red Sox won over 500. Been roughed up a little bit this week by Tampa Bay. Long season ahead for the Cardinals. The potential of a 100-loss season, it's still there, even after the little bit of giddiness this week with the play in Anaheim. Hope to get a win against the Red Sox. I'm 0-4 at New Busch Stadium against them.
Yikes.
2 of those in a World Series in 2013. I go to St. Louis with the Cardinals leading 2-1. I drive home. They're down 3-2.
Wow.
And Boston won Game 6 at Fenway Park.
Wow. Brett, we were talking yesterday. Could be the start of a winning streak.
0-1 at Old Busch Stadium against the Red Sox.
Is that right?
The most famous night in Red Sox history. The
Really?
night the curse of the Bambino was ended when they closed out 4-0 in 2004.
That's crazy. I
can't beat them anywhere.
No, that make me feel good about this week, and maybe bet Red Sox all weekend long. I don't know.
Right against me and the Red Sox.
Maybe. I don't know. You're laying out a good case. Something else, Brett, I could have done without, and we talked about this off air, but really didn't have enough time to talk about it on air, and it just hit my mind. Dabo Sweeney, we talked about him yesterday. He was on Sirius XM
Dabo needs
College.
Behind.
He's got to. This was from Brett McMurphy. Clemson's Dabo Sweeney on at SXM College about quality of players in transfer portal. Quote, it's really, really pretty simple, Sweeney said. Quote, most of the guys in the portal aren't good enough to play for us. That's just the reality of it. But all those players that enter the transfer portal, all the players that enter the transfer portal, none of them are good enough to play at Clemson. That's ridiculous. This is a guy that is just trying to stand his ground, but he can't.
He better be real right, and I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is either. Brett, beam me later tonight to the big game between Denver and Minnesota. We'll see what happens. It's going to be tough on the road, I think.
I still haven't figured out who I'm for. I just like watching that series, though.
Conley will be back tonight, so I know there are people that want Conley to succeed.
I'm fine by that.
I'm fine by that as well, but I don't dislike the Nuggets.
I don't either.
So, this one's kind of up in the air.
Will we, in a few years, will they become the evil empire like Golden State became?
Certainly could be.
And winning does.
Now, I think
they hate us because they hate us.
I think you could argue that they have more likable pieces, maybe, on there.
Well, we were in love with Steph.
That's true.
We were in love with Draymond early in that.
Well, that's true.
How hard he played.
I guess that's a
in
good
his
point.
legendary workout with the Grizzlies.
Well, yes, always something legendary.
Only one NBA playoff game tonight, and also the Rangers can close out Carolina in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of PGA analysis with live from, and best record in baseball, 31-13 Phillies at home against the Mets. 705 baseball.
I was looking at that this morning. I just pulled up the schedule today, and it blew my mind when I saw the Phillies playing that well, having that many wins already on the season. It's incredible. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon. Again, we're going to join Ole Miss baseball in progress right here at 6 o'clock. So we'll have all of that action as they finish out tonight's game against LSU. But again, thanks so much for listening. Enjoy your night. We'll talk again tomorrow afternoon.